I am sure sports. You know me there, from coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get the sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over air. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over air. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know the game play, that me not say it. If me never seen a game, me not know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you are gonna love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crapper players. We are good enough. Remember, like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment, let me know what your thoughts are.
Trick Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, Scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
Made up of 18 Jamaican herbs and spices. Add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Trick Nick Jerk Barbecue Sauce.
All right. Good morning. Demon, you already burning. Burn them. Slew them. Man, I burn the fire early. Ian Campbell. Up. Fresh God. Oh, yo, man. Yeah, man. Man like John Powell in the building. Mr. United. Siobhan Peart up and running. Yo. Yeah, man. Bless up. Welcome to I Am Sure Sports. Real baller. Yeah, man. Welcome to I Am Sure Sports. Yo. Stickman, up. Man, them say man is man. Yo, get beaten. You're under pressure. Man is man. This is the last video. You can't push out no video. Cause you get destroyed. You got annihilated. You get the leather belt. You know, some people way back in them time they used to say you get the tambourine switch. You get some people in a certain places say you get the guy wire. And so them call it electrical wire. You understand me? Me say man is man get beaten good. A true people. Yo, but we there, man. We are look to the hills, you know, from whence cometh our help. Our help comes from the Lord who made the heavens and the earth. He will not suffer a foot to be moved. And he that keeps us, he never slumber and he never sleeps. You understand me? For the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. You understand me? Who is the King of glory? He's the Lord strong and mighty. The Lord mighty in battle. He is the King of glory. We ever stop and pause and give thanks for the breath in our lungs. You understand me? But they're here. And we give thanks for that. You understand me? We live in love because love is in us. We carry no man in our heart. We live from a place of purity, morality, and integrity. Yeah. Because we understand that that life is all connected. And everything goes around and it comes around. And today I may be up and you may be down. But tomorrow I may be down and you may be up. So wherever I am, you are my brother, you are my sister. And so I must treat each other with due respect at all times. And what is joke to one man is death to another. So let us live in love, because love is in us. And never forget the love of the Creator God, the one who holds the galaxies in place, the heavens in its place, the seas, he tells them where to go, counts the grains of the sand on the seashore. Blessed love. Peso, up. Best documentary, up. Planet 41, Yemen, up. Dre, anywhere that sports, all of you people. Let me just give you some things, right? Me have to give you this, you know. Management telling you this. Mount Pleasant winning the Premier League. You hear management tell you? Mount Pleasant winning the Premier League, people. Let me say it again. Mount Pleasant is going to win the Premier League. Quote me on that. Demo, clip it. Clip it, Demo. And play it back. Listen, big things and big changes with the academy side at Mount Pleasant. In a couple of, probably in next week, you'll hear major, massive overall board and organization and the organizing of the whole thing. Like, this is going to be easy. You see, what all of you were expecting Mount Pleasant, the academy part to be, it just started. It took long, but it just started. Major shifting taking place down there right now. I mean, the thing is just about to get big. I'm talking about the academy. You'll be hearing the announcement in mainstream media very soon. You said, Dre, anyway, you said delusional at its best. Dre, anyway, that means half of you are with the league, you know. But you don't know. Blessing Tyrone Williams. Hey, Demo, click it. Person, what you talking about? AG within the league. All right, we are going to see now. We're unseen. Unseen is not seen. But yeah, so on the academy side, meaning the youth program, say you hear it here first. You're going to be hearing some major announcement about the massive change of how they're working. You understand me? And look out. Believe me. You see, all the things that you have been saying, this is how things should be, this is what they should be doing. Where are the players going to Europe? Where are the players from here? What are the team not? All of those things. Listen out for it. There is a next massive piece of move on the team. You see, when that happened, Premier League, man said that. Remember, we can't tell you yet. All me I said, yo, get it done, get it done, get it done, get it done. Get it done for the next home game. Get it done. You understand me? Mr. Christie, Mr. Whitmore, Mr. Barrett, Mr. Ferguson. Get it done. Mr. Gould, all of them. Get it done. Because you see, if this get done, yo, trouble in the league. Trouble. Mount Pleasant for it. Can't say nothing. People are going to say, what? How them pull off that? Dre, you start fret, Dre, anywhere that sport. Don't ask me nothing. Don't ask me that, Dre, because me not tell you nothing. Me not give you no info, all right? So, just know that is happening. But, we're going to deal with an issue. But we have Mr. Ogilvy, who is going to join us. You know him from the radio very well. He's normally on the program on radio, the morning program, and he's also on the afternoon one. For those of you who played football in the leagues in the States, in the Bronx and those places, he's normally there. So I haven't really started my monologue yet, but I'm going to have him on because he has listened to the show and he heard some comments that I made, and he has listened to a program on the radio and wanted to get his perspective on it, seeing that he's a balanced person. This is a man who don't pick side. The side that he's on is the side of what is right and integrity, and what is the side of truth. So welcome to the show. Long time.
Big up mornings, man. You hearing me loud and clear?
Yeah, man, we're hearing you loud and clear.
Yeah,
It's
man,
been a while since
the
you've been here,
original
man.
I am sure sports.
The only thing is that you have changed up the previously you're normally in some black jacket and black shirt underneath, but you change your colors now, but
Yeah,
still looking up as usual.
You don't know the thing, we have to mix it up, you know?
All right. Yeah, man. So you'd have heard so yesterday I did a show I didn't listen to the entire program by the Maverick. We're not talking about Dallas Maverick. You understand? But we're talking about the Maverick. I didn't listen to the entire show. So the pieces that I listened, all right, and from that I did a show, and I titled my whole thing was the comments from Mr. Oral Tracy, racist, with a question sign. And so in the show I said, and he said, speaking to Mr. Tracy, that Mr. Chung is being given a pass because he is white. All right. So this morning he said I needed to retract it because nothing that I said was a quote from him. All right. So in fairness to Mr. Tracy, he never used the word white in his statement. What he actually said is this: that is because I write it down. Because him named Chung and he has light skin. His skin is light. Why he's been given a pass. All right? That is what he said. I cannot agree with that because I don't think the man surname or skin color has anything to do with his competence. All right? And I don't believe that the previous GenSec skin color or surname had nothing to do with his performance. So those comments, I believe, carries the undertone of speaking about someone based on their race and not their competence. So while I will unequivocally say and state that he did not use the word white in his statement, I have the clip. I can't play it because I wish I could play it, because I want people to hear it in his exact form.
Why can't you play it? That's the perfect thing.
Because it is from a next station. I don't know if they have given, if they permit people to play their content, and I wouldn't want to play it. And Yeah. So
because we know Mr. Oral Tracy has a boss in us, so you have to be careful.
Yes, I don't want to do that. So what I can say, somebody said that you can play out. Somebody said I can play it. I'm not sure. I prefer somebody in media to say, yeah, man, you can play it, because I need to be sure. Because what I am saying, and I'll say to him, he didn't use the word white when he spoke of Mr. Chung. He used his surname Chung and the fact that he is of a lighter skin. That is what. So my thing is it. So first thing, let me apologize unequivocally for misquoting him for using the word white. All right? However, I still believe that the statement in and of itself has the undertone. Somebody's saying that I can play it. So I'm going to.
Yeah, man.
I'm going to find it.
Let me tell you why. I have had enough experience in discussions with Oral that you have to, if you don't get him exactly what I'm saying, him have the master, you know the inbred uptown. They have the master of the English language.
You know what is funny?
If you don't get them directly, The man they know if to deal with the goalposts and change the words and come back and change a one word, you know. Because I see him do it, you know. And it's like a different conversation the next day, you know. So if you can't play it, that would be good.
Sorry, when I started out, because I have a lot of respect for him, you know, because he's very jovial. I really like him standing, so I listen to him a whole lot. So I said all of that, you know. The point I was making is that if it were done by the persons on YouTube, we'd be chastised for it. All right? But what happened is, and I said this, I said that a man like him who has such great influence, all of those things I was saying, right? You have such great influence. Masses of people listen to you. It is important to me that you be more mindful of your comments, right? Do I understand? So I at no point did I implicate, I believe, the media house in what I said. I need to exit it and all right. So I hear that I can play it. So I just want to play it for the people to hear. But I want to play the exact portion of it.
But it's a good workout. When I think about 7
All right, so
so
you, assume turn it up so you can hear it.
Okay, good.
I wanted to get to that point. It's a little bit difficult to get there, boy. I mean, this thing take.
Who get fired the last time? Who get fired on a Chelsea again? Is who?
That's good. I can hear that.
Because it's a chung name chung why nobody not beat it.
All right, so listen.
But let me tell you what I heard. They oh there, wait. Oh there, we can't find it. Bang, 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 bang. I understand that the vehicle though that was supposed to take the team to the venue to play the game. That the vehicle was late. Yeah. The bus did not arrive until 1 hour late. So the girls had to walk to the stadium. Yeah. Plus, they never had enough kit for the team. So Dean Burton, who was in the area, obviously, yeah, I think he's affiliated to one of the clubs. Dean Burton had to get them a ride-name vehicle. Yeah. To go and get additional kit for the team. It's them kind of thing that we used to beat Dalton Wayne for. Which is why I made a public apology to Mr. Wint last week. These are the kind of things we used to take out the cat and I and batter Mr. Wint for him. And it's the thing them still up. Nobody knows enough. It's because Mr. Chung named Chung why nobody not beat him. She named Chung. And him, you know, complexion lighter.
All right, so
the girls want.
So you hear that? Is it because his name is Chung and his complexion is lighter? All right. So again, he didn't use the word that because he's white. He said because his complexion is lighter. All right. So like I said, that I will retract because he never said white. But to say that I am misrepresenting and telling a lie, it is not, because it still carries the undertone that instead of talking about a person competence, we're talking about the person on a public platform. We're talking about the person's surname, because that was brought up. Because we know when you hear the name Chung, you're talking about people of Asian descent, which is one of the things, and complexion. When you and I in Jamaica say that because of a certain skin, we are saying that because you're white. That is what we in Jamaica that is used. But he did not. Like I said, he did not use the word white, and for that I will apologize. But it doesn't change the fact that as a person who is in that space, it shouldn't be uttered in a public platform because you're talking about two persons' competence. So beat them. Because if Dennis Chung is feeling in his capacity, him deserve beating. People on YouTube beat him, you know. Many of us beat him. And he says, yes, call me out, but don't be disrespectful. Any person on YouTube will tell you, he comes onto this platform, Diego, and say, yes, in fact, he has come onto the platform and says, a lot of things that we were blaming the Gen Sec for maybe it wasn't really his fault. He has said those things. He said that there other the organization itself and the people within the organization, he said it in a very political way, don't empower or are able to do the work to prevent some of these issues. So it's going to take time to get competent people in the organization. So even he himself has come out and spoken about the fact that it is sometimes the supporting staff around the former gensec that was causing it. So I don't know. What do you think about the comments? Because yeah,
Okay, well, basically, a matter of fact, I was holding on the radio listening to the comment. So it's so surprising I'm here with you because I was holding.
oh, you were the next caller who
I
came
was
on.
the next caller waiting. But a couple of things now. First of all, when him say nobody now beat Chung, who's he talking about? Come here, everybody I beat Mr. Chung. So he must be talking about himself. That's the
But
first thing.
but he was beating Chung, you know.
He was beating Chung.
Yeah, that's what he was doing. He was saying that imagine Damian Lowe had Dean Burton had to bring the players in
Oh,
his
okay.
beat.
So
He was
why is he
actually
saying?
beating him.
So why is he saying nobody now beat Chung? Who's he talking about? That's a strange. Because I hear people beating Chung everywhere. Even in the diaspora, they're beating Chung.
Yeah.
Even in the diaspora, they're beating Chung. So I don't get that. But the comment, because I was on the radio.
So when you went on, what happened?
No, when I went on, I said to him, and they say, Chung and light skin, and him start laugh. You know the oral traces style. So you don't know which oral traces are genius, He laughs at everything. But I know that when a man laugh at everything, it don't mean him taking everything as a joke. So I can't interpret whether it was just for him or him. But what you cannot deny, it happens every time in America. Whether you're joking or it's nonchalant, that is what we call, maybe we need to find the right word, because them again, They're going to tell us that that's the wrong word. But that's racial undertone, and I think if you could look up the definition of racial profiling, maybe I think that's what it represents to me. But he could mean it in a joke. But he can't deny it was racially stated then. We just talk about a man last name and a man color. That is race. So is he denying that it was a race comment?
So he's saying that, well, that's what I want to know, because listen, because he never really addressed it that way this morning on the program.
Okay.
What he was saying is that he never used the word white.
He never used the word white. So we have the proof.
Because I think, but I have a caller who heard some of this as well. So let me just take the call and think. And then
maybe Oral Tracy can call too.
Yeah. Because even if it's a joke, like you said, that is not the kind of joke that you run on a major when you have, because not everybody is going to walk, and to the person who the reference is being made to, that person don't see it that way. Because if I say it's because Diego is X, Y, and Z, though it may be a joke, you don't like it.
Well, that's the $1 million question I'm going to ask you now. Have you heard from Mr. Chung if he took it as an insult, he takes exception to it?
Yeah, he takes it as an insult. So that is how the whole...
So then Oral Tracy need to apologize to this man then. If the man take it like that now, he might make it as a joke. But the fair thing to do now, if Mr. Chung took it the way he took it, then Oral Tracy need to apologize then. Even though he didn't mean it in that way. Because you mentioned the man's name, and you mentioned the man's skin, the color of the man's skin. How can you get around that? Even if it's a joke to you.
So listen, somebody said that he asked a question. So the question is it because, let's ask it, why am I get a pass though? Because him name, somebody saying that he apologized this morning. He said if it was, yes, Demo is saying, right, I think I have something. Demo is saying that he apologized.
Oh, you
If
apologize to Mr. Chang?
he said if anyone,
Okay, okay.
so I'm not, yeah, so he said if anyone took what he said as being racist, he
Okay.
apologized.
Okay.
Which is what I'm saying.
That's all you
So
were saying. Yeah.
yes, I am saying then I'm good because
Yes.
to say nothing is wrong with it, to me is wrong.
Simple logic, preacher.
What I'm saying is that, well, maybe if I'm a virgin them talk in a local corner, we could say that. But on the public space, you have to be careful because to the person, it is offensive,
Preacher.
especially Asians who are seen as minority
Thank you.
or
But,
Asian descent. You can't say that.
Runningsman, we can even go to my brother, my son, them, even my wife or family. I can be saying something in joke. I go to Trinidad and make a little joke comment. But if somebody take it a certain way, the decent thing to do is to apologize. Because you have to respect how our next person feel. And that's the problem I have with some of these journalists, which me and them debate for 10 years, They think whatever they say is gospel and truth. And that other people don't see it differently. So I'm just glad to know that he apologized for it and realize that not because it's something is meaningless or unimportant to you. It's the same thing I was talking about an athlete going to Carifta to run for his country. And because he's ready to go pro, you are saying a foolishness. No, foolishness to you. But maybe that person or that father or that mother want to see their child with the Jamaica anthem, the Jamaican color, the Jamaican flag. So I'm glad to realize that they understand now and oral that what they say is not gospel.
Yeah.
And he could apologize to the man for it. Yes.
Yeah, I'm glad that he did that. And like I said, I will retract the word white because he didn't say that in his statement. But at no point did that because I don't believe that oral is racist. But all of us many times are prone to making racist comments, not even sometimes realizing it. Because we think like racism sometimes only come from the other group of people and not from us. But we don't realize sometimes that as black people, we make statements sometimes that is racist, especially I think when it comes on to people of Asian descent.
Hold on, I'm in America here.
We call him on from Japan, Mr. Chin.
Yeah.
Japan and China always in conflict. And we call, go ahead.
My friend, Babu Mike, we call him Babu Mike. But him not take it away.
Yeah.
Him not see it as nothing, him see it as a reverence. And next person might see it away. But very importantly, in America here, I have seen comedians on the stage making their millions of dollars and say something derogatory against the Jews. And they mean it funny, and they have to apologize,
Exactly.
Based on how the Jewish community reacted to it. Yes.
Yeah. But I'm glad that he did because we can move on because I don't think he has any ill intent. But what is happening, Diego? There's a bigger issue at play. I think the football is so fragmented, and there's because of all of this conflict. So some people will speak to vloggers, and these I'm talking about persons in the JFF. Some will talk to vloggers, some will talk to mainstream media, depending on what side you're on.
Yes.
So it's almost like there's a war of putting out information. You know why? Election coming up in November.
Yes.
So everybody have an agenda.
Oh, there you go.
And what I will say to, as a vlogger, me, and all the other media practitioners, including oral, that you have to be careful that you not get manipulated to just put out information and be fueling the fire in a war that is dividing the football. Because I think that is it.
Well, I'm glad I'm here with you now because I know you're close to the foot. But before us, again, as you were saying again with oral and on the mainstream radio, where half of Jamaica is listening to you and the diaspora, you have to be careful. One time the man come, we had him had some discussion, and then I didn't get to call the show for a couple of weeks. Busy, and it's hard to get on the show. And the man starts saying, me not call him a malice him. The man I say every day, Diego, you malice me. Diego, say, me start get called, we are malice the boss for the Dan that Diego, you are malice the Dan. Oh, you are malice the Dan.
Yeah.
General, the Maverick, I said, no, I have to call the process and big man, stop it. As you say, people, so when you say no, name and color, you could be offending other people of that
Yeah.
category.
Yeah. So we have to, all of us, including me, have to be careful of what we say in this present climate. But listen, this is kind of strange because nobody ever, when the criticism were coming at Mr. Wind, it wasn't because of his skin color why people were criticizing him. It was because of the failures. So if there are similar failures with Mr. Chung, we can talk about that because nobody was bringing up, like I said, skin color when we were discussing what was happening when Dalton Wint was the Gensec. So we should not bring up surname and skin color now because that was never discussed under the
Excellent point.
previous Gensec.
Your excellent point. When people were criticizing Dalton Wilt, nobody said anything about him color
There you go.
and him ethnicity.
Exactly.
People specified exactly what he did. So that's what I'm saying. He was treading a dangerous part there. Even though he could mean it in jest, he was treading a dangerous part.
But I know Pioneer said he wanted to talk to the issue as well.
I'm sorry, but the person you...
but not getting through. But he was listening to both conversation. But like I said, to me, I think there's a bigger issue going on, which is this fighting in the football.
That's where I'm going with you now. Now I'm going to ask you now for facts, Banningsman, because use one of the sources I trust. That's all about your source, and I trust your source. I trust you as a source. Like I tell people, when my grandmother told me that my great grandfather was a carpenter, I wasn't around, but we trust my grandmother. So we don't question her. We don't need no evidence. You understand? It's who you trust and your source. Now, is it true now that there's a competitor coming that he named Raymond Anderson coming to compete against Mr. Ricketts?
Wow, that is like wicked. Well, listen, there has been. I know that Mr. Anderson has not come out and said that he's going to challenge.
Okay.
There has been no public statement from him.
Okay.
Though many people in football believe that there is a challenge. But to be fair to Mr. Anderson, he has not uttered those words in any public platform, or there is no quote from him, from anyone, to say. If that is, it would be around his inner circle. But there have been people who have been suggesting for a while that he could be a part of a group, or he could be the person. If there is a challenger to Michael Ricketts, it could be. But to be fair to him again, there has been nothing public from him. So any sort of thing is either person connected to him or speculation. Because you have to be fair now. But you know how people say, well, the streets are saying it, and it's up to you to look at the evidence and see, you know what, it looked like it could go so, it looked like it don't go so. But the streets are saying it. Whether or not it is true, you can't time down to that quote. So you can't say, yes, he is, unequivocally, because there's no word from his mouth saying that he's going to.
But I know he's part of he's part of the crew now. So
he's a vice president. He's one of the vice presidents. He's one of the vice presidents. Bruce Gaynor is one of the vice presidents.
Right, I know Bruce Gaynor, yeah. So what's happening then is that I guess when you want to get rid of the family, you go from inside the family to get rid of the family, because it seems like one of them going against their own to me.
Well, so here's what I said. I did a video a couple of days ago and I said that, listen, I spoke about this. A kingdom divided by itself is bound to fall.
Yeah.
So here's the truth. I don't think any person in the JFF right now can go by themselves and the masses support them. I think they either going to have to stay and join together, but if they split, because most people want everyone from the old guard gone.
Right, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so it's not like they're saying that we want my crickets out and all of you stay.
Yeah.
They want everybody gone. So if you even decide that you're going to run something separate, just know that the people are not in that either. Because as far as the people are concerned, it is every single parish president and every member of the from the vice president, the president, and every, because people want all the parish presidents to be gone as well.
The only people that is not part, that in the diaspora is separated from the clique is Kasafa.
Yeah, and then the thing with Kasafa is that I think so many of the people in the other parishes, though Kasafa is very organized, they don't like Kasafa's ambition because they believe that Kasafa wants to have the franchise and the football. So even in that regard, it is, you don't know. It's almost like, do you stick with the same, or how do you get a complete new set of people?
So then, if nobody has come out yet, this man might run uncontested then.
Well, and that is what I'm saying. The reason, listen, in the last 2 months, the amount of information that has come out of what I would call probably private things in the GFF out in the public is suggesting to me, like you said, that there are persons on the inside who are probably helping to erode the said organization because they have political ambition or leadership ambition. It appears that way to many people.
Yeah, like obviously there's a problem with the family. The house divided, as you said.
Exactly, you said it. If you want to take over the party, just start spread beer propaganda upon all the things them in the party, mash them up, make who need for expose all of them, and then you just pretend like not you. And when it crumble, you come forward as a saving grace. That could be a strategy by someone. But all I know, the general population, the people on the street, the people basically say, we want everyone from the old guard to go. That's what the people are saying. Can that work? Will that happen? We wait and we see.
No, can I shift a little with the cricket? I know you follow the cricket too, man.
Yeah, man, go ahead.
I'm sorry, but the person...
Yeah.
Oh, Dima, please get him. But Dima, I hope he can call and answer this question then, if you can answer. You know the big thing with Shayo, and the two theories going around. One by Orville again, one by Oral Tracy. The two messiahs who have their disciples. Right? Now, Orville theory is that Shai Oak is only playing for Yorkshire because of a quota system. And it's because he's black and a Bayesian. Because Yorkshire has to fulfill a quota system where you have to have a foreigner or a black person playing. The Messiah downtown now, which is the great Maverick Oral Tracy, his theory is that he believes that Yorkshire believes that Shai Hope is the best batsman available for the red ball for Yorkshire. He believes that's the reason why they're there. But I want to ask Dima or any cricket person out there, what is the quota system in England? Can they explain it to us? And does it go for all teams, or is just Yorkshire?
Oh, Demo, you can call in Demo. He says Demo says Arville gave some accurate info, but they picked him because he can bat. And so he says Oral is right. So Demo is saying that though Arville stats are accurate, he was picked because he's bat. So Oral Tracy is right.
Fine. But what I want to get from Demo now, what are the rules of the foreigners? I would love for him to tell us.
Or if it is a quota system, that's what you're
Yeah,
trying
the
to find
quota
out.
system, and if it just is it a Yorkshire or is it an English Cricket Board quota? You know, like how we
Okay.
have affirmative action in America.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So
Affirmative
hopefully
action.
Devo or one of the cricket genius can call me. Can
All right,
call me.
Dima, if you know that, see if you can call in and let us know. All right. But let me just all right, Diego. So we're gonna wait on Demo. I know some of the other things we're gonna talk about the female team. So there are also some information that the girls, which is true, they couldn't get any tickets for them. So they ended up leaving Jamaica on chartered flight. So the under 20 girls got a chartered flight or charter a flight to Nicaragua, which is, I think, the best way to travel and should have probably been the best option. So the team has traveled well because they travel by charter flight, similar to what happened with the Reggae Boys going to Mexico. Let me take this call, see if
Yeah, man.
this person can answer. Yeah, first responder, welcome to the show. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, man, and the great man. His name just slipped me just now, but
Diego,
you're the great man.
Diego.
Diego, yeah, man. Diego from New York, New York.
Big
Well,
up
Yeah, I
yourself.
have a question for both of you. With cricket wise, we keep going to England and anywhere else for footballers. So, Manixman and Diego, why is it that we can't go to one of the academy over England for some cricketers? Why is it that we don't have no good cricketers in the Caribbean right now? We are faltered. Why we can't tap into that market also? What Jamaicans up there? So I'll go back and listen to you.
Hold
But
on,
that
hold
is the
on.
question I have.
Him say hold on,
Carla,
him say hold on, Norton.
Carla, that's a
Yeah.
genius question, but maybe there's West Indies Cricket Board say have rules where you might have to play regional cricket to be selected. But it's a great question.
But if you open it, they will come because some of them not necessarily going to make the England side, but them good enough for the West Indies side.
No man, but remember,
They will come.
So
no
what?
cricket have a stage. You have to play a stage first, to be selected.
What he's saying is that if they open it where some of these players open up and say, all right, you can play for the West Indies, he's saying that they could probably come and play in the regional competition so that they could play for the West Indies. That's what he just said, Diego.
Absolutely.
Oh, for those who can't make the county sides.
Oh, because county cricket
No,
and the
man.
regional cricket play at the same time.
No, what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I
Hold on,
look here,
Carla.
man. I was living in England one at a time, and I used to play my little bush cricket going to college. But what I'm saying is, you have guys up there playing county cricket, League One, League Two, who are better than what we have.
But somebody is saying that KS is saying there's a limited amount of black cricketers in England.
No, how much of them you want?
No, what he's saying,
One or two or three or four is good. Better than what we have.
Okay.
You even start with one.
Carla.
Just start with one. Just said,
all right.
Hold on,
Nathan,
Carla.
Diego is saying something. Hold
Carla,
on.
you have to understand cricket now, Don't compare to football. What I'm saying to you, for you to play regional cricket for Jamaica, the selectors have to be seeing you. You have to see you play youth cricket, sunlight cricket, coming up playing for Kensington. How is the Jamaica Cricket Board, because it starts there, are going to see these players unless they come for trials.
Diego, how is Hal Grimson going to see the players who he want for the Jamaica team? Go up there. How much? We have enough money can send somebody on a scouting trip.
Well, it's an excellent point you're bringing in, because these players, everybody costed them no good. So let's go to our inventory to get
exactly. The only thing I don't want is when them come, we not treat them. There was a white guy playing for Jamaica one at a time, He was.
Hold on, Carla.
Brendan, let me give you his name so you can say Brendan Nash.
Hold on, man.
Yeah.
Hold on.
The only reason why I said white guy is because I didn't remember his name.
Understand, Carla.
But me personally, I didn't appreciate how he was treated.
Hold on, Carla.
This is Diego now. Yeah.
Caller, as you just solved the problem, you remind me about Brandon Nash, who his father used to swim for KC, one of the best swimmers in the Caribbean.
Yes.
No, all we have to do, what we
Yeah,
did,
man.
man, listen now. All they have to do is have an open invitation for trials for the Jamaica team to the world. And that's what Brendan Nash did. He came down, went to
Exactly.
trial, made runs Manning's man, and was selected, performed well, and made the West Indies team. The caller is right.
Exactly, sir.
All right, but KS is saying that. KS is saying we have an abundance of black footballers in England. Many of who cannot make the England national teams. How many black cricketers do you see in the England system or in the England team?
We're not going to know until you send a scout go up the Mannix, man.
The caller is right, Manning's man. He's
Yeah,
talking
so
about the England. He's talking about the England team.
The longest journey is you started with the first step.
Hold on, caller. The KS is wrong. He's talking about the England team. You're talking about the roots, England roots cricket, and open the trial, whether them black or white or purple or brown, and let them come try out for England and Barbados and Guyana.
Yes, sir. And guess what happened? The pool is even bigger than football.
He's right, Manning's man.
Because you're talking about the entire West Indies and not confined to Jamaica. We're not talking about Jamaica here.
You believe that there are more cricketers in England of Caribbean descent than footballers for Jamaica?
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. But remember, you don't. The Manning's man. Barbados.
Hold on. First responder, hold on.
Caller. First responder. You're a genius. All you have to use is the Brendan Nash example. That kills every argument against it. Brendan Nash loved Jamaica, loved his history of his father. He couldn't make the Australian side, so he motivated himself after playing cricket in Australia, Manning's man, to come to Jamaica and go. He played for one of the clubs, went on trials, and made the Jamaican West Indies team. It can work. And he was one of the best players.
Up to vice captain.
Thank you.
Up to vice captain. And all right, I'm not going to hold up too much, but one more thing more you do, Manning's man.
Sir, first responder, the man say if you bring this cricket discussion over here.
No man, me jump back to what you have. Do a poll just like when a match is coming up regarding the executives of the JFF. Like do a poll and see who more popular. Like you put Dennis Chung, the Ricketts, the vice president. Do a poll and see what the
who is the most popular person in the JFF? Rudolph Speed, Dennis Chung.
Yes,
the vice president.
Man. Put 5 of them on the poll and see how the numbers would go. I'm really interested to see.
Michael Ricketts.
Michael Ricketts is the most popular.
Dennis Chung, no man. Dennis Chung win. But I'm curious to see how the voting would go.
All right, first responder. I get man. Thanks for calling in. Man. All right. Thanks again. But Diego, I just got an article saying it says counties allowed 2 overseas players in 2021. The England Cricket Board confirmed. So only 2 overseas players are allowed. So this whole thing that there's a quota, it is not. So I can send. Yeah, I can send you. What you're saying is not black. It's overseas. So there could be
overseas, so it's black. Okay, got you.
There could be Australians. There could be from Holland. There could be from India. There could be from Pakistan.
Even America. If Richard stayed long enough, he could go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's overseas players. And not black players. So that's what the rule is.
Because in America, the affirmative action is specifically black.
There you go. So it's 2 different things. Yeah. All right. Archer is Barbadian born and waited years to join England versus playing for the West Indies. Nash is an aberration, not the norm. Name me 3 good black English players in
We
the
don't
system.
know. That's the whole idea. We don't know.
But Cranky Norman, Archer wanted to play for the West Indies. The Barbados selectors just never selected him because they
Yes.
thought he didn't have any direction in his bowling. That is what happened with Archer. Remember that story?
Remember Archer went on trials, you know, he just
Yeah.
didn't get selected on the under
And
19.
I think for the under, with Alzari, Joseph and those guys, he never got selected for the under 19 World Cup.
There you go.
Because they thought he never had any direction with his bowling. So I think that kind of encouraged him to go and play for England. But we have this yesterday we had a discussion about how some of these things at Mount Pleasant, and there's a gentleman that called the program, Diego. His name is the Follower. He goes by that name. So he asked me to call him back. So I don't know if you want to stay on and listen to conversation or
Yeah, man, I'm good for another half an hour, yeah, man.
oh, so Demo is saying that England has plenty good black players. Not playing for England, but playing in England, like you
Yes.
and the caller was saying. Yeah. All right, so let me call this person because they keep on saying that they need to come and clear up some stuff. Somebody saying that the great Gardner Greenwich was based in England. Yeah, but Gardner Greenwich, yeah, it was based in England. You know that, Diego?
Well, I know he played a lot of county cricket, but
Did he play cricket in the Caribbean? Regional cricket?
Gordon Greenwich?
Yeah.
I'm sure he played youth cricket and Shell Shield, Red Stripe.
Okay.
But you remember in those days, you know, most of them were before 62, so they could go directly into England, you know.
Oh, they could play in the county cricket, right? Because there's a lot more Caribbean cricketers allowed to go over there and play.
Back then, yeah.
Back then, yeah. Because most of the top West Indian cricketers would go and play over there.
Yes. And most of them born before 62, before Jamaica became an independent sovereign country.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
All right, not getting through to that caller. Let's try back this one here. Because he insisted that he needed to clarify some stuff from yesterday's show, so I want to give him the time to do that.
I'm sorry, but
all right, not getting through to. All right, so let me show you the Reggae Girlz U20 squad that is over in Nicaragua that is expected, they say, to qualify for the tournament, because this has, again, let's look at the team. They have the 3 goalkeepers are Leah Brooks. Leah Brooks was at the under 17, if you remember. She was recently called up to the senior team as well. You also have Katie Oakley of Georgia Southern University. You have Driana Tar. She keeps on Meadowbrook in the schoolgirl football. All right, look at this. You have Akeelia Johnson of Excelsior. Janelle Mignot of Excelsior. Tisha Nelson of Meadowbrook. Avery Johnson. She was part of the U17 of Charlotte Development Academy. You have Leah Williams of Garvey Maceo. Chanel Buckley, she was called up even to the senior team for a tryout. We have the caller calling back, so let me take him and then we'll get back to this. All right. Is this the person who was on last night by the name of Follower?
This is a leader, sir. That's my alter ego. Like you have Superman and Clark Kent, sir. That was Clark Kent yesterday.
Okay.
So you have the leader today.
So the leader and the follower are the same persons.
Yeah, but everybody does know that Superman is Clark Kent. You understand that.
So Superman is the leader. Clark Kent is the follower.
Yes, sir.
All right. So which one are you? Which person are you taking on today?
This is the leader.
So today you are Superman. Go ahead, Superman. What say you?
Yes, sir.
We have Mr. Diego Gilvey on line as well. Calabar man, and you are the person who
Calabar, Rabalak to the world, Diego.
Yeah, but we understand that you're the person who who helped to convince Christopher Ainsworth not to go back to Calabar to play Manning Cup, and if he was there, they would
Do
have
me a
won it.
favor. Do me a favor. Before pass my details on to Diego, I need to talk to him here, please.
Why you need to talk
Okay.
to Diego?
No, I need when outside of this. No, just tell Diego I need to talk to him. Just pass on my details, please.
No, but
I just asking you that. Yeah.
Rubberlock family, man. Once you say Rubberlock, you never say nothing more than manage, man. That's
But
why.
this is the man. Let me just tell you, Diego. There's a footballer playing for Cavaliers now. By the name of Christopher.
We're not going to discuss. We're not going to discuss anything about Calabar.
No, man. Let me talk to Diego.
I'm not going to discuss anything about Calabar.
Let me talk to Diego. Calabar lost 3 of their best players who should have returned to their Manning Cup team last season. Those 3 players. 2. Christopher Ainsworth, the one that went to Heidel.
No, because that was Amario Henry country.
Henry could have returned, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ainsworth could have returned.
Mm-hmm.
What about the goalkeeper? Couldn't he have returned?
No.
He could not have. So only 2 players.
No, only 2 players.
But those 2 players would have helped to push the team further in the competition.
I can't discuss that.
You can't discuss that. All right.
I will not discuss that on here. I will talk to Diego on that. I've just pass my details on to him, please, sir.
All right, go ahead. And you make a case now. Yeah, you said you wanted to talk to the people. Go ahead. Big up MPEC.
Yes.
Peter Mystic. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I just need 5 minutes. I just wanted to correct certain thing because just like now, I was listening to bits and pieces of the show before I came on, right? I didn't get the full gist. But the whole program had sounded like something that we had a discussion before, right? But there are other things that were brought up that before I joined that I wasn't aware of, right? So some people, I think, might have taken it the wrong way or misunderstood when, you made certain references to, people almost sabotaging the process of getting players to Mount Pleasant. I just want to make it clear that I am not one of those people that did that. I didn't even get that part because I don't actually take anybody there. The only thing I help with would be senior players, and that's a completely different thing, right? The young players, when they get there, it's not anybody from my club carrying them there. You have people from the community.
All right. So seeing that you are now the leader, you're not incognito. You mentioned your club. What club is your club? Because you said it again.
Cavaliers, sir.
So
I do work with Cavalier.
Oh, so Cavaliers is your club.
I do work with Cavalier.
Okay, all right. So go ahead. So yeah. So there's no Cavalier player at Mount Pleasant. Is that what you're saying?
There are 2 Cavalier players at Mount Pleasant.
So how did Cavaliers players end up at Mount Pleasant?
I don't want to get into the specifics why they went there because they went there for different reasons, but it wasn't anybody from Cavalier that carried them there. It's people from the community who saw a way to probably make a buck and carry them there because the parental oversight might not have been as strong as it should have, and they literally would have. In other countries, it would be called child trafficking.
All right. So somebody
make it as quick as that.
So somebody
literally would have done that.
All right. So somebody literally, according to you, trafficked these kids to Mount Pleasant. How did these kids become Cavalier players? Who brought them to Cavaliers?
They were wild kid. Would have been a Cavalier registered.
I want to ask you this, and then you can go ahead. Is it the same trafficker that brought them to Mount Pleasant? That brought them to okay.
No. No trafficker. No.
Okay.
No, the players never. No. One player came to Cavalier, of his own accord, basically.
So how can a player come to a club of his own accord? A minor.
Yes. No. Hold on. I don't know if I heard you mention something on the program.
No, don't tell me what you hear.
No, I'm answering you.
No, I'm answering you. So let me ask you the question again. How can a minor go to a club of his own
Players,
accord.
I am giving you that facts now. That's why I heard you mention something that you are not aware of, right? Any player can basically get up and go and play for a club in his community or wherever. He does not need that for him to even sign for the club, right? Just meaning to play, right? He gets a form that the mom or dad would just sign up, but it doesn't give
Oh,
permission.
oh,
No, hold on, you're not listening. No. Listen,
okay.
they don't need to do that. If they're a brand new player, they get the club will take their
Okay.
details, their date of birth, and so on,
So
and
our trick.
that's it.
Let
There
me
is
break.
nothing. Hold on now. There is nothing for the parent to sign
No
to
man,
give permission.
listen what I'm
Nothing.
saying. So in
That's
Jamaica,
all clubs.
hold on, let me understand. In Jamaica, the rule is kids don't need no parental consent to play football for any club in Jamaica. That is the rule across Jamaica. You can just register them and they play.
Or in Casafa, I can say, and in St. Catherine, which I and actually Portland, because I've dealt with 3 parishes. I know for a fact for these 3 parishes that basically you don't need anything from the parent to register the player with a club. No,
Uh,
you only
so let me
need to
ask.
show the player's age,
So hold
and
on.
that's
Let
it,
me
sir.
ask a question again. So a club in Casafa, St. Catherine, or Portland can see a kid from, say, a kid is from Westmoreland, hypothetically speaking.
That's a little bit out
All
now.
right.
No,
So hold on. A Portland, a kid from St. Mary comes over to Portland. That kid can play for a team in Portland and don't need no parental consent. I'm just asking, yes or no, and then you can move on. Hello, hello, caller, you still there? Caller, you still there? I'm not hearing the caller. So let's see if they'll come. Go ahead, Cataract, you're muted.
Good afternoon, management. Thank you for the invite. It came in as a ping and woke me up, but it's a very important topic
I
of which
think
I
the
have a
caller is
question.
calling back. So go ahead, Cataract.
Of which I
Caller,
have a
hold
question.
on. Cataract is on the
Manage,
on the
you
I
want me
just
to
line.
have
come
a,
on the
I
link?
just,
You want some of the link? I'm gonna come on the show.
All right.
yes,
I'll send you the link because Cataract is speaking. So I'll
Send me the
send you the
link.
link. All right. Go ahead, Cataract.
so manage, I just have a small request. Because this seems like it's going to be going deeper. I can ask you that in another program, maybe later today or tomorrow, if you could contact the Child Care and Protection Agency of Jamaica and interview them about the laws and regulations related to I am very serious. Laws and regulations related to children in Jamaica and their rights
Eh,
and their protection.
yeah.
As a pastor, sir, and as a
Okay.
form as a no, 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 as a former civil servant, what I have heard, sir, amounts to human trafficking, and we have a responsibility to report this matter. I am not joking. Children under the age of 18 are not legal bodies. They cannot enter into any arrangement without the consent of their parent or legal guardian. Point blank. They cannot, and if the player is under 16, there are even more serious matters related. I don't need to go into those, but
Let
you're
me hear.
aware.
Yeah, man.
So
Let
much.
me hear what
But
Diego has to say.
I
First.
would like in the future, or even later, even whenever, to hear from the CPA what are the laws and regulations governing, so that the
I'm going to reach
public
out to
can be
somebody
aware.
about that. But Diego, what do you think about that? I just sent leader because maybe you need to clear up this. Because you have a grandson. Can your grandson just go and start playing for a club in the New York that you are without consent from your son or his wife? How does it work? Cause maybe I'm missing something.
I've never seen it, and I was a kid. My mother had to give consent. I have children, my friends. You have to as he said, you're not a legal body under 18 and especially under 16. So I don't understand what is he saying. It doesn't really exist in Jamaica because the
Well, I
gentleman
did.
is right.
He's here, so I'm
It's
hoping
human
that he can
trafficking.
explain it. All right, so leader, you need to explain to the people
So
because some people are left. Some
unless
people
he's
are left
talking about
confused.
if he's talking about instead of written consent, you get the verbal consent. Because maybe sometimes it can be verbal.
You hear that, leader?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Let me just go into this. I've been an administrator in Kingston and St. Andrew for probably over 20 odd years, right? Okay, with at least 2 clubs, right? And I did some work in Portland also, and I've also had to deal with transferring players between St. Catherine and so at youth level. Okay, in Jamaica, right? What happens, right, is that if a youngster is, say, at a primary school, I'm going to go at the basic level, right? The youngster is maybe seen by a coach, a scout, whatever, right? Or even his parent, recognizing that he has some amount of talent or wants to even just carry him to give him some added exposure. They carry him to, say, a club. Like, okay, let me use my practical before I even got involved in administration. My son, he was at, I think, was it Meadowbrook Prep? I carried him to Real Mona because I knew of the club and I knew they had a youth program. When he went there, right, basically all you did, right, you made sure that when the time came, if he made the team, you brought in his birth certificate. You took a passport size picture. And the youngster, there was a form that was filled up to register him with the Kingston St. Andrew Football Association as a player. And there's nowhere on that form where any parent signs.
Okay,
what happened?
Hold on, Rabalak. This is where I can agree with you now because I have the experience in Jamaica. Hold on, man. I know where he's going. Diego Jr. came to Jamaica at 14 for the summer. I wanted him to play for Marvel UND. He played for Marvel UND. I brought his birth certificate or his passport. There was no form I signed, and he played for the whole summer and even went to the finals and lost, I think, to Boys Town.
Okay, there you go.
He's talking about youth football, the minor league. He's right. There's no form that I had to sign. And
right. But your son had to sign, though. Your son had to sign.
Oh, maybe, but I didn't.
Yes, he would know, but he had to sign.
Okay,
he has to sign.
Something. Okay.
Right. So
he had to sign. I didn't sign nothing.
No, you don't have to sign. You are not playing. But what happens is that if
leader, just slow down. So let me say this to you. So the club says,
that's a fact. I did it.
No,
unless you're telling me this not enforced.
No, listen to me.
I walk the walk. Cataract, I walk the walk.
All right, let me just say this. If somebody says my son has made a team,
Diego Gordon.
Your respect,
manners and respect, sir. Legend.
My son has made a team. The bringing in of passport, filling out the form, is really giving permission.
Yes, it is. Because a youngster can't have those documents by themselves.
Because if the parent is doing it, no, if the child turns up with the birth certificate by themselves, without any dialogue with the parent, that's a different thing. But you said, the example you're using, I brought my son.
Yeah, and I brought his passport, and I had the dialogue
I brought
with the coach.
Those things. So that is a part. Though there may not be a legal binding document, those actions are suggesting that I am consenting
to the child consent. Yes.
Play.
Manning, not because something happens, and maybe there can be changes, but I'm just saying this with absolute certainty as a former head of the National Center for Youth Development, the Minister of Education and Youth. This is illegal. You cannot have the signature of a minor on any document. without the countersign of his parents.
I got you.
It has to be signed in the presence of his parents.
Robalak, what Cataract is saying, it's done, but it's not binding. It's dangerous. You can be sued. Things can.
Yeah,
Look,
it is
Sir
legal
Diego,
because
because
somebody
those
can say,
mannings, those documents that they sign are just not a piece of paper, you know. They have behind them certain ramifications. What if the young man gets injured? A
which is what somebody
career-ending
said.
injury.
Somebody just text that says, what if, so who is
What?
liable if
Let
the
me
kids get injured?
let
The
me continue.
club, the club to which
Let me
he's
continue.
playing.
Let me
So
continue.
is there any signing
No,
document to say that?
Okay, let me tell you now. Okay, let me answer that. The
Mannings,
bigger clubs, like
Mannings,
what
I
I
beg you.
can say,
I, I beg you, Mannings. I
Why?
just beg you. I just beg you. Don't just hold your program, but just hold that. The clubs have an insurer. If the child is injured, career-ending injury, anything, and they attempt to do a claim, that is when the story will come to bump. Everything is all right while it's happening, you know, because then the insurer will ask, what are the documents that have this child or this individual at the club on that day under the coverage of my insurance? And then that document would have no legal body because the child is not a legal entity.
okay, Cataract, let me answer that. I can just go into something. Kasafa, right, had something in place with all their clubs with insurance coverage for all players that play in various competitions, that if any sort of injury happens, they get treatment and that sort of thing. I know that for a fact. Kasafa is a leader with that. I can't say for all the other entities, but I know for a fact I've had it where I've had several players that have had the arm or whatever broken, and we have carried, and it has been dealt with two different clubs. I've seen at Medhaven and I've seen it at Cavalier, and I know this is not even just those clubs. Even the smallest of clubs in Kasafa are the coverage covers all the clubs once they get in, so it doesn't have, those players are covered. I can't say about other confederations, but I can speak certainly for Kasafa. Before any competition starts, they have that sort of, it's not a part of the thing where they have umbrella coverage for
Yes,
them.
yes, umbrella coverage under which every single Jamaican child doesn't fall under that. The
No,
children,
just those that are
those who are
participating in that
participating. And
competition,
I'm
right?
saying to you that the document that's signed that says I am at Woy Woy FC, which is a new club that I really want to support. So I'd like some details on Woy Woy. But the document that says that O'Keely Blake is a player 16 years old in the under 17 or even the under 15. Let's take this serious. So a 13-year-old can walk and sign a doc. Sir, do you know that 60% of students graduating or matriculated in Jamaica are functionally illiterate? So you are asking a child who there is a 1 in 3 chance does not understand what it is that they're putting and
They
affixing
do.
their
No,
signature.
no, no.
No.
Cataract,
You
you're being
don't know.
facetious. Look
I
here.
am
No,
not
no.
being. I
Cataract.
am not being facetious. Over
Cataract.
50% of students in
No, no, no,
Jamaica
no, no.
leave. Hold
Look
on,
here. Let me tell you
hold on,
something.
sir. I am
So
telling you the
here's the thing
fact.
of cataract. Cataract. All right. So here's the thing of cataract. You notice I said I must give you. I was going to say something. You say I must give you your time. I
Yeah,
give
man.
you. I've been silent and allow you and leader to go on because I don't want the program to go down into an argument. All right. I hear your point and you have a valid point. So I'm going to allow you to finish, but we have to give leader a time to explain because the whole thing is not done yet. There's more stuff that we need to talk about because that is not the only issue. So go ahead and finish up what you were saying, Keter.
And allow me to finish. I'm just saying, running plan, as you pointed out yesterday about young people, boots and things. I'm saying that the actual statistics of the country is that less than 50% of youngsters who reach the CSEC age, which is 16, 15, 17, graduate without any subject at all. Nearly 60% coming out of primary school age 13, 14, which is the under 15 age, are functionally illiterate, read below their grade level. And if handed a document, nearly 2 in 3 would not be able to understand what is on that document that they're signing to and what are those implications. That's just my humble thing, and I yield there to allow your program to flow, sir.
All right, go ahead, leader.
Okay, it's a the document, yes.
I don't want it, leader. I don't want it to also miss that you're going on to something else, and I interjected because we're talking about your club and all that. But go ahead.
Yeah, but I just want to clarify with Cataract there. The document that you're speaking about, Cataract, is a basic one-page thing, right? That is just to register them with the club to play in the competition. Though there's a long sheet that all players put their name on, and they know exactly that if they sign for Woy Woy United and Manningsman FC comes along, they cannot sign. They know, because I have had experience with players that have been training with, say, Woy Woy FC, and then now when they come and you say, oh, look here, we want to register you. This is the thing. The first thing that says, boy, I can't sign in, sir, you know, and this and that. And then when you check it out, they are already registered to another club. Cataract, trust me, you're not giving enough credence to a lot of the kids out there. Look here, they might not be able to do certain things, but there are certain basic functions that they can handle.
All right, so let me go back to my original point, because you admitted that some of the persons who may have brought kids to Mount Pleasant are traffickers. Don't know if you remember using that. It's child trafficking.
I will actually stick with that. They are. All right, because they hold on, listen up. They move them without the knowledge of the club that the youngster is registered with. And sometimes they just tell the parents, say, oh, I'm going to carry him down there. Them have something go down country. Go on.
So this person, this human trafficker, moves a kid from one place to another. The parents know, even though they don't give them the full details, and that is trafficking. What I was asking you is that when those players are brought to your club, right? Is it trafficking? You said no. The players come on their own.
Okay, let me give a particular example, sir.
Then I ask you.
Nobody carries players there like that.
Well, right, and you said that the players come on their own. I then ask you, how can a minor make a decision, a 13-year-old, a 14-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 15-year-old, to come to your club on their own? Let
me give up. Actually, he didn't let me finish.
Go ahead.
No, because where I can use my club, I can't use, there are certain other community clubs that all happens is that the youngster them go in a group and reach there. From my club.
Tell me, which community is your club in?
My club is not a community club.
Okay, so you can't say players from the community.
No, okay. We do not. So my player now, you can't just lift up yourself and come. Basically, what would happen is that I would watch you in a corner league. No, listen to me.
You said the players come on their own. So
I'm going to give you the full details. He didn't let me finish, and tell you the process.
No,
it's a process.
No, do the players come on their own? Yes or no?
Let me finish and tell you the process, sir, so you can understand.
No, man, Diego, tell the man say we just want yes or no, man.
No, but I can't. Hold on. You have to hear. If I don't, let me outline the process.
Answer yes or no, and then you explain.
No. So, no, they come with the knowledge of their parents, but nobody actually carries them and transports them there. Okay? So let me just explain now. I see Diego's son playing for Calabar High School. I say he has some talent. I get the parents' number. I contact the parent. I send a letter to them and say, okay, we're inviting him to come to train with us at X time or whatever. The youngster will find his way to the field to come to train. We'll have a look at him. If we feel he's of the standard, right, we'll go ahead and we'll let the parent know that we're going to be having him register him to this competition and so on. But at no time the parent needs to sign anything, right? Okay, because that's a general thing. There's the form for CASAFA does not have anything there for a parent to sign. It tells you the name of the parent, etc. You fill it a data sheet that tells the name of the parent and all of those things and so on. These are things that you understand. The parent, the child can't give you some of the things because they have to carry in the original birth certificate and so on, and then the child is registered.
Here's what I am asking you, because let me go back to my original point, and somebody correct me. They didn't hear this. So you said the person who takes the player to Mount Pleasant speak to the parent, and then they bring the child to Mount Pleasant.
No. Sometimes, basically, listen. Sometimes there are people that have various corner leagues or things like that, unofficial, because, or sometimes they might even be. I know of a case where somebody's a coach. You want me to call the club? Because we know the club.
No.
Don't call the club.
Hold on. Let me just go slowly. When you used the word human trafficking, it was in relation to a person taking kids to Mount Pleasant. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So I am right. All right. You also said that person spoke to the parent. What they did not do is explain all the details.
Right.
All right. So they bring them to Mount Pleasant. You do the same thing at your club.
No. Let me share where the difference is now. When that particular person, right, they just tell the parent, they don't tell the parent that they are going to be collecting money from Mount Pleasant if the youngster is signed.
No, you're going on to a difference. No. So
that is one of the things. They don't tell the parent that.
So let me ask you.
So the parents never know that part.
Hold on. So if there was no money involved, would it be human trafficking?
If there's no money involved?
Yeah.
I don't want to get into the legalities of the whole thing. And that's not what the point is. The point of the matter why we were even discussing the thing yesterday, was because...
No, hold on. You just said the difference is that person, right? Because you're making a difference between...
It's a third party.
You're making a distinction between what you do and what the other person does. You said that the person gets money for what they do without telling the parent. You don't take any money.
No.
What I am asking you is if that is what makes one trafficking and the other one not.
Okay. In one case, hold on. In my case, we make direct contact with the parents. There's no third party in between that carries a youngster there. We make direct contact with the parents.
Ask something, you add something else, because you said to me that the person spoke to the parent. No, you're saying that an third party. So you have to go.
No, this is when I said the third party. It's the same person we're talking about.
So aren't
right?
you a third party?
What? No, I make direct contact. No, hold on. I represent the club and I'm making direct contact with the parent, right? In the other individual, no, you're talking about somebody associated with, say, Arnett or Woy United, right? Making contact with the parent. That person from Arnett is not connected to Mount Pleasant. And then they lift up the players and carry them there. And then now, after a while, they come back to the parent. No, listen now. They come back to the parent and say, oh, we can get John into this thing. It will work out good for him and so on. And then they come with a lot of the thing there. And then now we get to where cataract is. That some of these parents really don't understand what all of these things that they get to sign.
No, you're going all over the place.
No, I'm not going all over the place. You don't want me to go and explain
First thing, sir, I don't want you to call and implicate a club name. I don't think that is fair to the club because they are not here to defend themselves. All right? Unless you're going to provide me with documentation that is proof of this, please just listen.
Okay, I won't. Let's just stick with Woy United.
Yeah. All right. So here we go. Let's go over the process. And Diego, help me if I'm sounding confusing, Diego. We know you're good on them things. So let's go. Situation one. Situation one is simple. You said that players get moved to Mount Pleasant by an individual.
By individuals, not one. It's individuals.
By
People do it. Anybody. Say Diego. Diego then. Say Diego. Diego and Cataract. They do it. Let's go that way then. Go on now.
No, I do not. No, I do not.
Your fan say I must give you time. So your fan Damien James say give you time to talk.
Muppet and Scarecrow.
I'm
But
going
don't use my name in trafficking.
to mute you. And I'm going to mute me.
Sheesh.
A lot of time to answer, so you alone
What?
talk. And he
What?
says that we need to give you a chance to answer, please. So I've not
Okay.
given you any time to
Oh,
talk.
oh, no, I didn't know that you're giving me okay, all I said is that
So you
what happened original and it still happens is that when Mount Pleasant has trials, right? You have a lot of people from all over the island. Sometimes it's the parents, but a lot of times it's individuals from various communities lift up a number of boys and carry them there for various rewards that they expect to get if the youngster is signed by the club, right? These youngsters have already been connected to other clubs, right? Which might not even be aware of these youngsters moving. Sometimes when the youngster actually, the movement has been done, right? Because the person would carry back papers to the parent and then now move the youngster out of a school, right? Into Mount Pleasant. The parent will be hearing, oh, they're getting all of these things free and so on. And because of the economic situation, parents will accept it. But after a while, when they get there, a lot of these parents, the same youngsters resist and want to leave and go back where they were because it's not what they thought it would have been. So that is why they have this high turnover of youngsters that go to Mount Pleasant and they leave. I don't know for what Manis, you'd have to tell me the percentage of youngsters that go fully through the Mount Pleasant experience, because a lot of the youngsters that when they go, they don't go willingly. And what they expected when they go, they are really, after a while, they change their mind and they want to go back where they were, right? Because even some things have happened recently with Mount Pleasant and the York Castle experience is rather strange. That's all I can say. But I'm finished.
make sure that you have said everything because I am sticking to one simple thing I'm asking you. All right? So now, the persons who you call human traffickers, why are you referring to them as human traffickers? What do they do for you to label them as human traffickers? Explain that to me.
They are moving youngsters across several parishes, right? Without the parents probably even knowing the full details of why they are being moved, and then they are collecting rewards for getting the kids there, right?
Okay, so because layman term, the people who you are referring to as human traffickers are people in Jamaica who are going across Jamaica, bringing people's kids across Jamaica without fully explaining to the parents, and they are collecting monies for this.
No, not the people directly connected to Mount Pleasant. We're talking about the third parties, not the people. No, no. There's a difference. You have people from Mount Pleasant directly that will go. There's nothing wrong there. Where you have an issue is when you have.
Sir, I am repeating what you said. So
No.
Listen, the people want you alone to talk. I just repeated what you said, and you're telling me no. So I'm going to mute myself again, and you talk.
All I'm saying, sir, you don't need to mute yourself. All I'm saying, I never said I made it specific that these people were not connected directly to Mount Pleasant, right? They have no direct connection to Mount Pleasant. They take the youngsters who they know are connected to other clubs or whatever, move them, or other schools, move them without giving the full details to even the parents about what the ramifications of movements are. Later on, some of these parents might find out months later that what exactly is happening. That's it.
So, just so that I can understand what you're saying, I'm going to try again. There are people who are not connected to Mount Pleasant who take people all across Jamaica to play for different clubs and academies all across Jamaica, and they don't tell the parent all the information that the parents needs to know, and they are collecting money for this. And that is why you refer to them as human traffickers. Is that what you're saying, sir? All right. That's it. So, last night I asked you if any of the players that are at Mount Pleasant are connected to you, connected to your club, and that are there. Do you remember that question, sir?
Yes.
Did you say yes, they are?
I don't remember still, but yes, they are. They are. They have played.
Yes,
Yes,
they are.
just
All right.
like other clubs.
At what point did you know that one of the players connected to you, one of the players who are part of your club, was at Mount Pleasant and was brought there by a human trafficker?
Sometimes probably a little while, maybe a month or so, or weeks, or sometime because the same parent makes and tells you and will inform me that, oh, I'm going to send my son there for whatever thing there to basically get a blessing and make you know. Yes.
So a month or weeks after a child was trafficked to Mount Pleasant, that really connected to you and belonged to your club, right? You know, how long do you take to take actions against it?
No, you don't have to take action. The youngster does not belong to a club like that, like you're going to own the player. No, you don't have no. Look here, a youngster under the age of 16 is free to move to any club. He can move. Well, he can move to I think no more than 2 clubs in a season, right? In a seasonal year. So he can always lift up and move. There's nothing holding a youngster if he wants to register with another club. But the thing is now, Mount Pleasant has that way of moving kids there and then not doing the necessary paperwork and think by the kid coming there, they're automatically with Mount Pleasant. They don't register them.
On a point of order, Manning, because you are casting a lot of aspersions on Mount Pleasant Academy. And I don't think that it's right, Manning, I know it's your program and you're free to do whatever, to have aspersions being cast. The principle of natural justice is that someone should be here to defend themselves, right? Because what I wanted to ask you, though, however, Mr. Leader, have you reported this human trafficker or those that you are aware of to the Child Care and Protection or CISOCO, of which you have a legal responsibility?
Look here. All youngsters have parents. The parents know their responsibility. If a parent wants to take advice from somebody to say do that, and then no, the thing is, where it becomes an issue is when later on the parent or whatever said that they don't like the idea of them being there, and then they take them back out. There's no problem with a youngster moving. They can move to anywhere.
You haven't heard my question, because you maybe you haven't heard my question, good sir. So I'm asking you again.
No, if I heard your thing, and I'm not going to answer something like that, because
I'm saying, you being aware of individual third parties who are trafficking children across the island, Have
Yes,
you
hold on a second.
reported to the relevant and competent authorities, that's the Child Care and Protection Agency, I just checked the act, and CISOCA, which is the agency for against abuse of children, right? Have you reported these individuals to those bodies so that they could conduct their own independent investigation to ensure? And I yield by saying, if someone goes to a parent and says, I can get your child to work in Mexico, and then takes that child to Mexico, they are still a criminal because, not because the parent said yes, meaning you are not doing something that is against the laws of the country of Jamaica. So I ask again, simply, yes or no, I have reported, I have not.
No, but the information, I understand what he's saying. That the man can't, he cannot answer that on here.
Well, he can't answer
No,
if
he's
he
not
reported it
answering.
or
No,
not.
I'm not going to do that. Hold on. Nobody's going to fight. The Mount Pleasant experiment is not something people want to fight against. No, it's not Mount Pleasant doing it, you know.
I'm not asking about more. I have not mentioned the word.
Leader and cataract. I keep on leader, you know that I muted my mic when you're talking. You're saying something and I'm trying to stop you before you make the point. And you're still talking. Just there's a reason why. I have a caller online. I don't want the caller to keep on holding. Can you please, sir, just allow the caller to respond? I will give you, I'm not going to say anything, you know. I'm going to let you talk, you know. But if I say leader, because I get, please allow the callers to speak, sir. Thank you very much. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, big up yourself, man and cataract, also leader himself.
Yeah.
Leader, I want to ask you a question. Me know we carry a little underage penny come your academy to Cavalier. Or you know that me the parents. Or you know that somebody little boy get car come to represent him as a trafficker. Or you know that me one parents for the little boy. Why you just stick and say your club no trafficker not come your club? But no got Mount Pleasant as a trafficker. And you try to exalt your club, say no bad now traffic the penny come your club. Or you know that me the parents for that little boy.
Can I answer?
Yes, man.
Okay. Okay. The first thing is once. Okay, we had that thing yesterday, right? Where we go to the youngster, we ask we get the information from the youngster of even before he came. We already have spoken to the parent. So when the youngster comes, some parents come, some of course will be working, so they can't come. So, but what we do, we get all of the information from the parent, right? Right? We contact the parent again, and some of them are given letters, right? From there on. No, we don't just, some clubs might operate that way. We don't. And a lot of the more established clubs don't operate like that. You can't carry somebody there and say it's a youth. And so, because you have to have a birth certificate, right? The youngster is going to be asked the parent's name and so on. Don't work that way.
When a leader, you never explain nothing like that. And if you listen to yourself when you talk, leader, be careful the way you talk. You're a big man and be careful the way you talk. Most of your talk leaders totally they want to say something on the man program. Leader, be careful the way you talk.
Hold it, caller, hold it. Don't say
leader, you're a big man, yeah, leader.
Look here. No, listen, if you heard, I told the routine.
Leader, stop your foolishness, leader. Because majority of you from last time I listened to the program, when you talk, when you say about your name, follow around whatever me I call from last night. But tell management to take care of the program. Man like only we match the man program, but put the man program no problem, leader. Stop your foolishness and stop calling people club name.
No, leader, hold on there. Hold on. Let me tell you something.
All right.
You need to stop it, leader, man.
All right, caller.
Man is man.
Jamaica football program.
I don't want him come off in a Mannings. I don't want him come off in a. Hold on now. Let me just say one thing. Man is man.
Me no come off, man. Me there every whole time, man. No. Me listen every program. Me there every whole time. Yeah, 6 hours me there.
All right, caller, listen to the comment section. I'll let leader respond. All right, respect for the call.
All right.
Man is man. You need to make people understand, you know. And I've even told you this, and I've told people at Mount Pleasant. I am one of the biggest supporters of the Mount Pleasant experiment and what they are trying to do, right? even what we're speaking about, no, it has nothing to do with Mount Pleasant. It has third-party individuals that is where the problem is. Because even the problem that you were bringing up, that have players being there and they can't use them to play because they're associated with other clubs. That has nothing to do with the clubs where they're coming from, It has to do with the third parties that carry them there, that make the people them think that these players don't come from the club.
Policeman, we can ask you a question?
Go ahead, Diego.
Because we just want to get an understanding before we leave, leader. I don't know anything rubber like moon, there must be some logic or reasoning behind it. Because we think for yourself. But someone get more understand. What specifically did Mount Pleasant do why you accuse them of trafficking children?
Not Mount Pleasant, Diego.
Oh, sorry.
Individuals.
But the kids is also involved. What Diego is saying to you is that if you bring a kid to me that you're trafficking, I too am part of trafficking the child.
Yeah, so what specifically act? I just mean I get that yet.
You understand that, leader?
Well, look here. The majority of those kids that go to Mount Pleasant, are not actually carried by their parents, You know that, Manins.
Just listen, leader. You ask if I steal something and you are caught in possession with the stolen item, you will be charged for receiving stolen property, though you did not steal it. So, if you accuse the person of bringing the child as a trafficker, then the person who received the child, would you admit, is also into trafficking?
The example that the caller that came on was trying to use with somebody carrying a youngster there, right? And you mentioned it also that if you don't do due diligence check, he was trying to make it seem that we don't do. My club does due diligence checks, but what I'm saying is that
changing the discussion.
No, I'm not changing it. I just giving it.
You didn't answer.
I'm saying that they don't. Maybe one of the problems is that Mount Pleasant doesn't do due diligence checks to make sure that.
I didn't ask you if Mount Pleasant do due diligence. Let me ask you the question again. Would you agree with me that if I receive a child that has been trafficked, then I am also a trafficker involved in trafficking children? Yes or no?
It can legally be looked at like that.
Thank you. Go ahead and then make your point.
I've not. I've gone.
But my question has not been answered yet.
Marine.
Hold on, because I'm going to get the answer. What specifically did that do not call a name? What specifically was done while you were accusing these individuals or clubs for trafficking? I just want to know what they did.
Okay, Diego, let me tell you what happened. Yesterday, Manning's man was speaking about a situation where there were youngsters at the academy that they wanted to use for Brownstone in the tier 2, right? Okay, these are Mount Pleasant kids, but they can't use them because the transfer window has been closed.
No, leader, I did not mention any transfer window.
No, I know you didn't. I'm just putting it. You just said that these players are connected to clubs and that's the reason why they can't play. But you didn't specify that. The reason why they can't play is simply because the transfer window is closed. You said that these players come and that the parents don't want them to play and so on. But that's not the fact. The fact of the matter is that the transfer window is closed and Mount Pleasant didn't do what they were supposed to do.
All right, so let me ask you a question. Okay, you said that's what. I didn't mention the fact that the window was closed. If the window is open today, those players will have to play for Mount Pleasant.
They can be transferred. Yes. Any player can be transferred. No club can hold a player unless they're a professional. So, they can be transferred quite easily.
So
simple process.
So let me say again. So the players at Mount Pleasant know that are your club, because remember you said that you have players there that are from your club. You said they are connected to you.
Not to me, to the club.
No. Let me ask you again. Are there players at Mount Pleasant that are connected to you? I asked you that last night and you said yes.
No, when you say me, the only players that would be might be connected to me would be professional players, not
So you have
amateurs.
no. Hold on.
I'm on a point of order, Manins. I will listen to your program last night, and I'm asking the leader. Manins said he was not talking about professional players. He was speaking about academy players. And you said, and I quote, there are two players there that are connected to me.
To the club, well, I would be specific to the club. Okay, they are not. When I say me, as that's like an individual. No,
So let me
they
tell
are
you what.
connected to the club.
You said that they were connected to you and they are registered to your club.
Your club.
Right.
When I ask
Whatever.
you,
Not my club
not
anyway.
whatever.
It
Not
belongs to
whatever.
somebody else.
when I
Not whatever.
asked you about the club, you gave a hypothetical. You said whatever the name.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you said. You went on to say because the parents spoke to you.
A parent.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I got inter-
One of the
so
parents.
that is how you came by this because you are connected to the player.
I'm not connected. The player is connected. I know the parent. The parent knows me quite well.
No, we are hearing that you're not. You have no connection to the player.
No, when you say connected, there's ways you can be connected, to directly. It's either that you would be like an agent, you would be like a stepfather, or something
You
like
said
that.
connected. So what
What's
did
that?
you mean when you said connected?
Because I am with the club that the players are signed to. That's it.
So you're.
So Diego, let me ask. Let me get to a different thing. All right. Again, Mount Pleasant needs to do due diligence with every player that comes to their club. They cannot be absolved of the responsibility. I said that they have a responsibility in this as a club to ensure that if management brings a child here and says and present a birth certificate and said this is my child, they should verify it. They have a responsibility of doing that. But here's the thing. A friend of mine named Duckland said something last night that is so important. He said, if a person picks my pocket, while I may have catch and exposed my money, and he saw it and picked it, it doesn't mean that the pickpocket is not wrong. So here's my issue with all of this, leader. You knew, because you said these things today, you knew from very early that players who were at Mount Pleasant are registered with your club, are the club that you are connected to. At no point in the weeks after you found out did you approach Mount Pleasant, who you said you have a relationship with, who you said you have players that you work with in their senior team, that you are part of their transfer? Did you say to them, you have players in your academy that are my players and they should not be there because
No,
they
no.
belong?
Why should they not be there?
Because how can a player who belongs to Chelsea be hiding in Manchester City club?
Look here.
No,
Hold on. If a Chelsea, okay,
wrong with that?
how would a Chelsea carry a player in there, knowing that they are with Manchester City? Why
And
should they do that?
listen what I
That
just
means Chelsea was careless.
I just said that. I just say
So it is not the job of
listen
Man
what I'm
City
saying.
to tell them that.
Listen what I am saying, indeed. This is it, The people are saying that I'm not giving you a chance to answer. Listen what I'm saying to you. Mount Pleasant must be held responsibility, according to your word, for their carelessness. You said 2 weeks into the process, you knew that players connected to your club were at Mount Pleasant, they were brought there by someone who, according to your words, was not clear in their communication with the parent of these kids. You
Two
said,
different individuals we're talking about, by the way.
no, I said players, man.
Oh, but just to make it look like it's one person that carried them there.
I didn't say. You said that this is tantamount to human trafficking. You said all of those things, right? You said all of that, and at no point, even though after that you had dialogue with Mount Pleasant, at no point did you say anything to, listen to me, to your club players, your club president, that our players are at Mount Pleasant. They were brought there having had conversation with their parents. They were brought there by someone who doesn't have any legal right to be doing that because it is human trafficking. We need to get them out of there. The players, hold on, let me finish. The players stay there for whatever time. At the point when the players are now supposed to play is when the issue is coming up that, oh, but you know they belong to a club. They belong to my club. While all of this time you were there seeing the player there, you know the player is there, you're doing business with them, you're transferring players to them, and you have a player there. Why wouldn't you bring that up at any point? That's all I'm asking you.
Can I answer now?
Yes,
I'm glad you say that. Okay, let me just give you the details now, right? By the way, nobody from my club ever brought up anything and said Mount Pleasant that you can't have that youngster there at no time, because no club in Jamaica, a youngster that's an amateur, they can't hold that youngster and stop him from going anywhere, right? So he can always transfer. It's a simple process. If a player wanted to go to Mount Pleasant and play, all they had has to be, it's not the club that he's coming from has to approach other club, It's a club that's taking him is supposed to approach other club and say, we have John Tom here, right? We would like to register him. And there is a simple thing. There's no money is thing there. It's a simple paperwork that's done. Mount Pleasant is lax there. Let me move on again. You said that I spoke to the person in charge of the academy in 2020, and I told him that your thing that you are doing is lax. You have a lot of players here from all sorts of different clubs, right? I didn't have any of my club players at the time, but all over the place, and you don't have any of them transferred properly into your system. That's foolishness. Why are you doing that? I did say that to the person in charge of the academy. So don't say that never happened. And hold on, no, man, just let me finish that.
No, I have to say this. I have to interject. You just said at that point they didn't have any of my players there.
No, but it's they kept doing this thing and just taking players there, assuming that these players come from nowhere.
I say your players, you say to me, I am wrong, and you didn't say that, and you just said it again.
What?
So, do you have players at Mount Pleasant?
My club has 2 players there, and there's no problem if the players want to be transferred. Mount Pleasant should have tried to transfer them from January. It's not my club. Don't have a problem with it. Mount Pleasant has money, but they are just slack administratively.
But every time when you speak, you say my players, as if you have.
Okay, let's call it Cavalier players. Forget, they're not my players because I don't have anything there in ownership in Cavalier. So let's just call them Cavalier. Let's move from the mic.
Leader, I just want to get what you're saying now. I think I kind of get it. Come here, I'm just trying to understand in my head. So what you're saying, leader, there's a club called Mount Pleasant. There's no problem transferring minor players, but they are not doing the proper documentation. They are doing rogue transfer, and it's simple paperwork they're not taking care. Do you disagree with that, Manningsman and Cranky and Cataract? That's all he's saying. They're not doing the proper paperwork that they're supposed to be doing.
Hold on.
Yeah, Manning.
Yeah, man.
Manning.
Hold on. I saw one say Diego. I've sold you.
I, I, oh, so he's online. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll leave.
Diego leader cataract man is my best to understand. The thing man is but where what leader say no? May I listen to him cleanly and may I listen to you cleanly. I swear you say last night I understand. Let me stop that about last night. All right, if his leader send the player them down to Mount Pleasant, they see the person at Mount Pleasant not doing their job because they should find out all these things before. So when leader try say no man is man, Mount Pleasant lack their fault. The man who's the head of the recruitment for the academy is wrong because these players cannot come and you're taking them and just signing them like that and writing them up. And when push comes to shove, you're gonna put out an issue. Dare to blame too. Well, as you said, it's trafficking where leader saying talking about now. Trafficking player, the JFF should have something put down about trafficking. Because if a man bring a player, if you bring a player to me now, and me come and just sign him and don't listen and find out anything at all, then the parents come. Them should find out if those players associate with any other club before all this, because the Senate president should, under JFF rules, should sign all these players as a Mount Pleasant Academy player. So all these things is ranks down the line. So we cannot blame he or she. Everything come back down to the man in Mount Pleasant who is the head of recruitment is wrong. They should seek all these things before. Because that is what I getting from all this story. So if leader have player, and leader you send your player to the club, you should tell them, say, listen, this player at Mount Pleasant, they register with Cavaliers, so here what happened. When push comes to shove, if you want to transfer, you should tell them that to leader as a man where you say you have a good relationship. Because if you have a good relationship with them, you should tell them that too.
Okay, one thing, just interject a minute. I never carry any players there, so that's one of the other mix-ups that everybody. I never carry anybody there, so just continue.
No, I'm sorry, Manning, Soji,
hold on the cataract.
I'm asking if you can confirm it, Soji. I heard with my ears leader say that he took a player or
senior professional, big difference, sir, not youth.
Sir, Mannings, I am saying you said with your own mouth that you carried players from Kingston to Mount Pleasant. Sir, notice my mic was
mentioned please, senior players, and I didn't carry them there.
I'll not be railroaded. Notice my mic was muted while you were there. I asked for protection from the host. You said, sir, that you carried players to Mount Pleasant because the community in which they were living was volatile, and as children, you wanted to get them out of that environment. Mannings, when you said professional, Manning said, I am not talking about Mount Pleasant Football Club, which is a professional club. I am speaking about the academy. At which point you said, I have or took 2 players there that I am connected to. And Soji, I know you listen to this program intently and your ears cleaner than mine. Did you hear that or you never hear that? Or may hear something else?
Yeah, no, you're right. I say leader said that to Manningsman. Yeah, I hear that for true. Yeah, leader did say that. Manningsman said, if you're supposed to say professional, Manningsman said, I'm not talking about professional, talking about.
Yeah, and I said, and I made it clear.
Okay.
I made it clear. The 2 players, one player was leaving from Arnett, the other player left from Cavalier, by the way. So there is not even from Cavalier. One player left from Arnett, and the one from Arnett is one that I have straight interest in even now. The one from Cavalier, I don't have that much interest in that player anymore. But I represent the one that left from Arnett and went there, right? I still have that sort of thing for him, right? Those are the
No,
only players
what is
that I
that
moved
sort of
there.
thing? Sir Leader, you're speaking in all these nebulous languages. What is that sort of thing? What is represent? Are you an agent? May I ask that question, Marins? Is it appropriate?
I manage a player that's registered to Mount Pleasant.
Manage?
Yes, sir.
So he's
And management knows about that.
He's not an agent. He's a player manager.
Yes, sir.
That's it. You're a player
Player
manager.
Yes, sir.
All right, Solji, I have Tiga trying to call for a while. So just call back. Let me just take it. Yeah, let me just take his call.
All right.
Yeah, man. All right. So I gotta get to some. So I hope you understand my point, leader. And I'll say so a player. All right, Tiga. Welcome to the chat. This is Tiga, people. Yeah.
Big up leader and cataract and big up management. Much respect.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Respect Paul Tigot Davis.
Respect,
I
legend.
want to program my track listen. Leader, I don't know if they're trying to be diplomatic and not answering the question that I posed to you. You're going around in circles. And for us, the viewers, we're getting really annoyed with you going around in circles and trying to answer the question. The first thing I want to address, leader, is the one that when you were saying that players sign form when they come and they say that yes, they are sign the form. Well, Catholic was giving you the point that how many persons are literate, the persons are literate. A young player might come to and tell you that they can't sign a form for one reason. They were instructed by the first person that once you sign this form, you cannot go to a club and sign and end. That doesn't mean that they understand what is on the form. They were instructed that once they sign the form, they what up and they can sign the form again. So when they come to you and so them sign already, it's not really that them really understand what is on the form. They were instructed before. Now the second point about the human trafficking and you're going around the corner. And that answering what management is trying to say. You're just going around the corner, beating around the bush. You understand? And you're calling up other clubs' name and what they do and what they have that done. I heard you yesterday when you say that you have two players connected to the club. Well, this is the thing, my assessment of the whole situation. You knew that the players are at the club, but you choose not to say anything because you know that later down the line you have a card of your sleeve where you can draw. And when management asked the question, when the players were at the club, did you say he said the club always do it. Management asked him, did you know at the club from Cavaliers, he said, no, that's at that time when you were talking. Once your players got involved, then you start to do action. But before, when the third party turned that wasn't taking action, I didn't say anything because your players weren't involved. But once your players get involved after saying you want to take action. That's right, brother. That's right.
Can I answer you now?
Go ahead, man.
Yeah, man, can you go all over the place? Listen, just get it one thing clear because it look like we don't want to use the D word, right? But seriously, I am saying something simple unless people are dunce. Listen, I keep saying there is no problem. Listen.
No, I take objection to that.
Listen. Listen.
No.
Let me just say it one last time.
Man.
Listen.
I made a comment on your program a few days ago, and you pulled me up. I am asking that the same rules apply. I take offense to that word, and it being cast upon the coach of the club that I support, Sir Tigot Davis.
Let me continue. I said there is no issue transferring. Nobody trying to hold on any player, because it's been yes.
Why just anytime I hear me call it, leader, I'm not talking a
Okay.
lot.
Yeah,
But
man.
he was trying to stop you. The man took offense to what you said. When you use the word
I
dogs.
didn't, I said, and I'm, I'm not going to retract it because hold on, let me just go over it one last time. There is no issue with any player being transferred. Nobody want to hold on any player because it's being put out there like people trying to stop player from playing for a club, and that's not true. Nobody is all. The only problem is that a club has not done their work. Once look here, once I'm getting a player, I do my work and I transfer the player once I intend to use the player, right? The problem is that they just did not do that, and you keep making it look like clubs. And by the way, I'm just one of clubs. There are other players there from other clubs that they just simple have not made the move to try to transfer them. It's not. Look here, when you how the rule goes. If a player goes, okay, let me give you something here. If a player moves from Chelsea to Man City, who is supposed to ask for the transfer? Is it Man City must ask for the transfer or Chelsea must ask for the transfer? Cataract, tell me, how does it go? I'm taking a player from Man City to Chelsea. Who asks for the transfer?
Leader, all of us listening and watching are in total agreement. I stated at the front end of the show that come next week, there'll be a major announcement at Mount Pleasant about the structural and organizational changes that are being made. Mount Pleasant did not do due diligence, and they have found themselves in this position. You and all of us agree on that. Okay? So can we move on from that to where
No,
we are
hold on.
this?
But Tigat just made it. Tigat just said that he made it look like other clubs are trying to stop the players from playing, and that's not true. It's not
The
true. You
man did
need to
no
make
such
people know
thing.
that.
The man
No,
did
he
no
did.
such thing.
Is Tigat on the phone still?
The man did
Is
no such
Tigat
thing.
still on the line?
Hold on. As a panelist, I understood clearly
No.
what Mr. Teagot
Manins,
was saying.
is
Hold on.
Tigat
You're
on the
speaking when I'm
line?
speaking. You are speaking when I'm speaking, sir.
No.
Please. Manins, I understood clearly what Coach Teagot Davis was saying.
No,
The
this is
person
no,
with
this is
whom
not
I'm
Coach
the
Tiga.
person
No,
with
this
whom
is
I'm having a
no.
significant difficulty understanding what you're saying is the leader. And
Yes,
so is the majority of the persons on the
all
chat.
right. This is
Cataract, please don't make people think it's really Tigat Davis on the line. Please
leader.
don't.
I have to clear up this. It is not Paul Tigat Davis, the coach. It is Tigat from Sports on the Mill. That's all I'm saying, Cataract.
Teagot, tomato.
Don't do that.
Tomato. Okay.
No, it's a big
Teagot.
difference.
Teagot. Okay. Teagot the caller. I understood what he's saying with his soft spoken voice. I'd wondered if the coach was hoarse. But I am not understanding what you are saying. And when the time comes, I have some serious questions for you, Commandings. I did some little research while I was here just being on mute. But the rest of the chat, we have not understood what you said. And in truth and in fact, leader, you have tied yourself up in so many contortions. You said one thing last night, you say a next thing today. You said one thing at the start of the program, you say a next thing. And all that you're doing is calling the name of MPA when no one is. And you are not addressing the role that you may have had in this scenario.
All
I
right,
And
have
so
no role. I
I
have
am
no role.
hoping, I am hoping that Mannings would allow me the courtesy of placing some very serious questions that I have that should concern the public, because I think persons like Betty may not understand what their mandatory legal and statutory responsibilities are. But I'll allow you, when you're ready, Mannings, if you'll allow me that course.
yeah. All right. So Ricardo asked, so what are we trying to achieve? So let me tell you my purpose in this. Mount Pleasant realize that they have the leadership, like leader has said, blundered, right? And so they have made the changes. Nonetheless, I believe that everyone in the process who were aware of the circumstances, because we are dealing with minors, has a responsibility in what is happening. All right? That is the point I've been trying to make to leader. So what do I mean? At no point any of us is saying that Mount Pleasant is not or don't hold some responsibility in all of this. They do. However, if any club in Jamaica knows that they have a minor, these are minors who are in their club, they know that the player wants to play for their club, but they are at Mount Pleasant without the club's consent or the club releasing. The adults who are aware of that, especially the adults who say they have a relationship with the other club, are bound, right, as adults and dealing with minors, to seek at the earliest possible time to resolve the situation. Because what we find ourselves in, and this will come in some questions, there is a player, and that's why I'm asking these questions, because it will. So, leader did say, right, that it in a couple of weeks or to a month, he found out that either a player or the players were at Mount Pleasant. He knew that prior to getting to Mount Pleasant, they are from his club or they are connected to his club. What I want to ask leader is, from the time he knew to this point, how long is that? Hold on a sec, you're muted. Just give me a quick answer. How long?
No, man, I knew, I think one of them,
hold on.
I heard exactly what he's saying, you know. The mother would have called me and told me what she would have been doing sometime last year, and I said, no problem. I said, no problem. If that's...
You're answering what that's what I say. You hear what I'm saying, but I don't think
I said last September, one of them would have moved from a certain prominent high school, and I said, no problem. Because when she explained the details, I said, no problem. What I know is that at no stage...
The question that I've asked you.
You said when? I'm giving you the timeline, I said.
No, that's not the question.
What's the question?
The question is simply this. From the time you found out that the player or the players were at Mount Pleasant to this point, how long that is? Give me an estimated time.
About 7 months, and there's no issue, because there's no issue for the player to be transferred if they want to be. There's never any issue. And one of them is 7 months, the other one would have been about a month or 2 months maybe, but there's no issue. There's no issue. I don't have a problem with them if they want to move. So don't make it look like there's an issue, like I don't want them to move. No, but you're insinuating that.
I just ask you one question, you answer.
But you're insinuating like I don't want them to, and that's not far from the truth. So be honest.
What did I say? That what the question? I asked you a question. What was the time frame? How did I insinuate that from the question? Tell me.
Because you keep going back to saying that. Why did I not inform the club? There are a lot of players there from all sorts of other clubs. It's not my responsibility to do that.
All right, we passed that already. I just asked you a simple question. You gave me 7 months. All right, so let's work with that. One of the players, according to your approximate time period, 7 months they have been at Mount Pleasant. Am I right? Yes or no, sir?
Yes, that's correct.
So 7 months. And in these 7 months, right, did you engage the player? Any at all?
When you say engage, what do you mean by that?
Speak to the player.
Speak to the player. Have you had?
Of course, the player has been at the club from 11 years old. So of course we have a relation. We know the mother. It's whenever anything, yes. And when anything, the mother has concerns about anything with Mount Pleasant, she sends documents to me. I know all about it. I know every move.
So so I'm assuming that you and the player in the 7 month period, and probably their mother would have had dialogue. That's
Yeah,
it.
because some people we know it's like family. We know them
All
for
right.
like over. This is like
Okay.
what 4 years
All
now.
all
Yeah.
right. So let me ask you, and you're stating on this program that you wanted the player and had no problem with the player moving and transferring from Cavaliers to Mount Pleasant.
No issue. If they want
All
to
right.
do it, yeah,
No. So you were okay with that.
of course.
If in January, all right, I'm going to bring you back to a player now. When we were doing the recruitment for the under 17, when was the under 17? When did we have under 17?
Under 17 recruitment for what? Under 17 what?
When,
Camp.
when was the camps going for the under 17?
The camp was in January, I think it was. That's when the
All
camp
right.
started.
So in January was a transfer window,
Yes.
right? Remember? You remember that there
Hmm.
was a player that during that time people came out and said Mount Pleasant player, and you said the player was a Cavalier player.
Because he's registered the Cavalier. True.
All right. But he was at Mount Pleasant at the
True.
time. When we were
Hmm.
saying to you, a Mount Pleasant player, you said no, he will not
Okay.
play for Mount Pleasant. Do you remember anything like that?
Yeah, because the player was actually going through the process to register for Premier League because that's what he said he wanted to do because he said there was no up chance of him playing for Mount Pleasant and he's not registered. So he was asking and his parent wanted him to do that. Yes, sir.
Wanted him to do what?
To play with his club that he's registered to.
So the parent from January wanted him to come back to Cavaliers.
He didn't leave. He never left.
No. Oh,
He never left.
So he was not at Mount Pleasant.
Legally, he never legally on paper, he was always and he still is connected to Cavalier legally.
No,
He was living. He was living at Mount Pleasant, but he was attending the academy, but he was never transferred, and they never asked to transfer him
No,
either.
I never got into that. I am saying to you, in January, the player said to you that he wanted to come back to his club.
He did, but he never left. He knows he never left. He says he wants, if we can register him for Premier League.
So in January, the player says, can you
Register, yes. No, he never said come back. He know he didn't leave. He know he didn't. He knows about, just like how Cataract makes it seem that they don't know. They know that they never got a transfer form to sign.
No,
they know.
So the player said to you that I want to give up my living arrangement with Mount Pleasant and come back.
I don't think that would be an issue. Why? Hold on.
I'm not saying it's an issue. I'm just asking a question to get an answer.
Mm-hmm.
So the player in January, because he got there, so September, October, November, and then December was holidays. So January came around. The player says to you that I want to play in the Premier League. I have a living arrangement. I just live at Mount Pleasant because the player was in high school in Kingston up to September.
Well, no, he would have moved somewhere around that period before, so he didn't start at this high school.
So this particular player, left high school, started Mount Pleasant in September, and then in December, in January, the player says, I want to leave the living arrangement at Mount Pleasant, come back to my club in Kingston and play in the Premier League.
That sounds correct.
Okay. What did you do as the player rep?
No. When you say player rep, all I did was say, well, okay, if you are interested in doing that, there are documents he's supposed to do and so on. You can start the process. That's all. Because there's no issue. He never did leave the club, so there's no issue.
So what documents would he need if he never left the club?
What? No. There's a difference between when you play for the youth team and the Premier League team. There's a big difference. There's a different. It's almost like
he never played anything for Mount Pleasant. So
no, I know. No. You have to register. It's not a bush league. You have
Okay.
to register.
So the player asks you to be registered in January as a player of the club for the Premier League team.
Yeah.
So did he also leave Mount Pleasant in January, seeing that he wanted to?
Actually, yes. Actually, yes.
So
He did not. Okay, let me tell you. He has not returned. He did not return after the under 17. He didn't want to return.
not the
No,
under
I'm giving you
17.
exact. I'm telling you exactly.
No. After the under 17 is different from in January. Two different times.
No. Okay, from December, he has not been back.
Okay, so the player got to Mount Pleasant in September. And then by December, he decided that he wanted to be back at his club. He gave up his living arrangement. He stopped going to school.
He didn't know how the Mount Pleasant thing go is not as strict as that. Basically, it's a laissez-faire thing that I'm not too impressed with even in that thing, because the youngster did not return back to school and nobody even inquired where he was.
Manins, well, I have to leave you to conduct this. I can't stay. This is like watching paint dry on the wall and deviation.
Maybe you can ask better questions.
No,
maybe
I say because I don't. You're asking straightforward questions. I'm not getting a straightforward answer. All I'm getting is a bashing of Mount Pleasant. I have no.
I'm not bashing Mount Pleasant.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are.
Right.
And so
if I'm pointing out, I'm pointing out deficiencies that they have.
I am going to say to you, and I'm going to make your suggestion, and you ask me to listen to me. There are many elderly persons in the United States who fall victim to a phone call. They should know better. They should be more aware, but they're not. And I am putting my simple assessment. On saw Mount Pleasant, on saw the loopholes, and on a chop Mount Pleasant. Mount Pleasant get chopped. I hope, Mannings, that they put the necessary structures and systems in place and checks and balances to protect themselves and their organization from exploitation. However, in the little minute that I have left before I have to leave and go do something.
I need to say one thing before you leave. Just give me 30 seconds after you finish.
No, sir. I listened to you. I put my mic on mute when you were speaking, didn't I, Mannings? In case people couldn't see, my mic was on mute. We didn't disturb you. I just want to address Mannings, if you could, Miss Betty, and I just want to read for her the have mercy with the something down.
Hold on, Soji. Ketara going to finish up because he has to run, so just hold on. Go ahead, Ketara.
That the responsibilities that in Jamaica there is a mandatory reporting under the Child Care and Protection Act, and I just want to make it clear: any person who has information which causes the person to suspect that a child is in need of care and protection and does not make a report to the Children's Registry or other relevant authority commits
Ketara gone. Soji. Oh, Ketara is back.
Yeah.
Hold on. Ketara, you got disconnected.
I got disconnected. I'm saying there's a mandatory reporting. I'm just letting Mr. Leader be aware so that he puts himself in a good position that anyone who has information that makes him suspect reasonably that there's a child in need of care and protection and does not report to the child registry or any competent authority commits an offense under the law of Jamaica, which is punishable by a fine of up to 500,000 under Registry or by a resident magistrate. And, sir, you have indicated on this program that you have knowledge of children being trafficked. And I want to just stick on that word. And I know Neo gave some definitions. Neo, if a child is being asked, forced, or coerced to sign documents without the knowledge, consent, or the presence of his parent to guide him or her, that is a crime under our act. I just took time to read the pamphlet given. So I would encourage the leader to please, sir, at the earliest opportunity, report to the children registry, the Office of the Children's Advocate, or the Child, Family and Protection Agency, the names of the third parties who are trafficking children who are talented footballers across the island to do your job as a law abiding citizen of the island of Jamaica. Thank you.
Thank you, Cataract.
Manny?
Cataract.
Next
One thing before you go. One thing, just 10 seconds before you go.
Leader. I'm going to let you go. Cataract. I believe we have a show later that I think I'm going to need it, but let leader make him 10 seconds and then you can go, Cataract. Go ahead.
Okay, Cataract. Just to be clear, you are also aware that the vast majority of the particular players you are talking about were carried there in the early part from a certain junglist area. And a lot of almost all
Leader, I keep on saying to you that again, you talk about you're implicating people. They're not here. Refuse.
No. Okay, hold on. It's well known that most of those players in the early time came from Arnett Garden, sir. It's not a secret. It's not a secret. It's not a secret.
Leader, but you see, here's what you're saying, leader. You're talking about trafficking and you're calling.
I didn't know. I didn't call any club. No club. Nobody. Hold on. No club. No, Mannings. No club moves their players to Mount Pleasant.
Leader.
No club does it.
No, listen what I'm saying. You are trying to explain the issue of trafficking. And you... all right, Soldier, go ahead, Soldier.
Yeah, well, Cataract say most of what I was going to say to you that when Cataract is perfectly right in when I say and only hope and as you said only 8 months and you start thinking
yeah, because
a lot of the high school went to make a visit.
Yeah, Mount Pleasant must take responsibility for this.
Is if leader knows a player, a team player, and he knows that this player not going to allow to play for Mount Pleasant, him to tell him from early and tell him, so this is my player. So you what happened, him when you want my accommodate, he can come, but when anything, he cannot register for him because he's my player. So leader should say that to them from early. So
Stop, Soldier. Stop. There's no issue. Nobody has a problem with them playing. So that's the first thing that he keeps saying. Nobody has an issue. It's just that they don't do the diligence to get them to play. So that's why you're getting the whole thing mixed up, Nobody have a problem with them playing. You're just not understanding. They don't do the diligence to make sure they can play.
Let me tell you this. In the under 17, when that player name came up on this program, and I'm going to play the recording of Leader and also Mr. Speed on this program speaking about a player at Mount Pleasant. And during that time, they insisted that player is going to be playing for them. Listen to my issue, people. The player left, according to Leader timelines, the player left a high school in the summer, started Mount Pleasant, and in a couple of months, left Mount Pleasant. All right? The said player, not at Mount Pleasant, said player has not played for said club. Mount Pleasant now tries to get the player to play. And then it has surfaced that the player belonged to a next club. All I'm saying is that during this whole time, there were conversations even January at the senior ranks about player transfer. On this program, on this very program, in the January window, this said leader came on this program talking about transfers and movement at players at Mount Pleasant. I am saying, leader, as a person who I listen to on these matters, you were aware that the player was there, and all the information that you have shared is that the parent, you and the player are in dialogue. And as far as I am concerned, you did nothing. No, there are other things I can say now. You never did anything. There are other
To
things
do what? No, anything like what?
to resolve the matter.
What matter is here to resolve?
There's no matter to resolve, leader.
No, what matter is here? Hold on. If the player wanted to listen, if Mount Pleasant wanted the player to play for them, it's a simple thing they could have done in the January window. Why did they not do that?
So explain to why did the player end up at Mount Pleasant if he doesn't if he wasn't willing to leave the club that he was at? Why?
No, he's not leaving the club. It has a community. It has nothing to do with the football club he was at. He moved for non-football reasons. I'm not going to go into that.
So follow me. So the player.
Nothing to do with football.
This is where you and I have a challenge, and I have a challenge with the persons who are responsible for the player. And I'm saying that this was not communicated to Mount. This is where now finally we come somewhere. Listen to me, soldier. You just said when this player moved to Mount Pleasant, they moved for non-footballing reasons.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Meaning, it's not really, it is the opportunity to be in a different environment. Why the player moved, not to play football from Mount Pleasant.
You'd expect to play.
But you
I want to play football. No, the primary reason why he moved was not primary. Listen, you care. When a youngster go anywhere, them going to want to play ball. But the primary reason why he moved had nothing to do with football.
So the player moved. The primary reason was because of what was happening in his space. Right?
In his area, yes.
In his area space.
Whatever, yes.
Right. So what was happening? I needed to move out of my space.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That is the primary reason.
Right. No.
All right. Were Mount Pleasant aware of that?
I have no idea, you know. I didn't carry him there. The mother didn't go down there either.
So how did the player leave from a troubled space without his mother's knowledge?
No, the mother knew that somebody from the area told her that he's carrying him down there for a trials, right? The mother never, look here, most parents don't know the ramifications of all of these things.
I don't want to go.
And that everything would be free. No, I'm telling you exactly.
So the mother was called. Hello, yo, mommy, yeah. May I take your son down a Mount Pleasant for your trial? All right, take him and carry him going. Bam. All right, him down here, him do the trial. All right, him will go on Mount Pleasant. All right, bye.
Everything free, and she can't. There's a thing that she can't refuse.
Everything free, mommy. Everything free. All right.
That's it. That's a good example.
All right. So the player went to Mount Pleasant because he wanted everything free.
Not anyway. I told you the environment, and it helped assisted the mother. Right? Yes.
But really and truly, though it assisted the mother, the player always wanted to be at his club.
The player was at the club from look here. The player could always leave if he wanted to. If the club, if Mount Pleasant just did what they were supposed to do. Either they had 2 times to do it. They could have done it in September when he just came, and they could have done it in January. So Mannings, be very clear on that. And nobody refused to do it because they never did it. So when they look at it after September passed and they never make no move, January passed and they make no move. So now they want to use him, and they know who's. It's not anybody's fault but Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, man. Sir, but I have blamed Mount Pleasant. So let me ask you again. Do you think in all of this, right? Because it's the mother who, according to you, who had maybe a concise conversation with the third party. The third party, according to you, would have received some money for this, right? All right. So, do you see now where you who say that you talk to the mother and they always ask you advice about things? Do you see where now you need to call the mother and say, Mommy, as a mother, you cannot operate like this because it's not good for you, it's not good for your child. Do you see any space in that for this?
I'm not going to go into conversations that are personal conversation what I have with the parents. Because there's a lot more that you won't understand. And I can't discuss that in this space.
Leader.
I'm hearing you.
Okay. When management are trying somewhere you are trying to say, what you are trying to say to management. All right, me have a kid, and this kid go to the drone stone and pure gunshot of fire in drone stone and he coming to your team. And then somebody say, why I don't want this future talent, I don't want certain things to happen. There's a club down here in Central where I can take this to and in will have opportunity where you don't have to pay with him and so forth. We will feed in our summer festival and we'll go safer from gunshot and the street. So straight away now, do they take it bring to Mount Pleasant have been so what I'm saying to Mount Pleasant so the Central president to sign him under the JP to the academy. If they never done that, that is where they go wrong. Because the president of the parish, they should bring that player to him, and that he sign him under that rule. Then they would see.
Not the parish. It have nothing to do with the parish, sir. It's a club to club thing. Nothing to do with the parish president. Nothing at all.
So the parish president not supposed to sign the player.
No. Nothing to do like that. It's a simple thing. Listen up. Let me tell you all that has to be done. All that has to be done. Soldier, no, hold on. Let me just give you the thing now. All that have to do is September, when they got him there, they should have just done up a simple form, ask young to sign it, then pass the form on to the club where he's coming from. That club would sign it, and he's there. If they didn't do it in September, they could have done it in January. They did not do it. Whose fault is that?
If I play a clip, leader, where in reference to this player, during that same period, you and Mr. Speed, 2 different clips stating that this is your player, big talent, I am not going to transfer anywhere. Would you?
I don't think nobody said. I never said him not going to be transferred anywhere now, and I don't think.
No.
I don't know about anybody saying that they're not going to transfer him. A player can always be transferred.
Listen what I'm saying. If I find the clip and play the clip, no. Not anywhere. We're talking about Mount Pleasant, where you stated that this player is a Cavalier player, and he's not.
Of course.
And he's not.
He's not what? Yeah, man. Play the clip. No, play the clip, but he's not going to be transferred. Yeah, man. Play that clip.
To Mount Pleasant.
So I need. You want to put a bet on it, sir?
Well, I know.
Make it interesting.
Let me say this. If I find a clip with you or Mr. Speed saying that.
No, listen what you said now, you know. You said me saying that the player is not going to be transferred.
Listen what I am asking you. So if I find a clip during this period when the player name was brought up, they say, who? Me not transfer my player. You see the old boy big and strong.
Oh, no, you're not going to find anything like that, sir. Saying because it is known that once a player is not a professional player, they can always move. You can't find nothing like that, sir.
Listen what I'm asking you, because we're talking, because you're not going to try and twist. Here's what I'm asking you. I said, you are Mr. Speed, and this is in reference to the player moving from Cavaliers during the time of the U17 to Mount Pleasant. We're not talking about ever being transferred. Not that we're talking about. So nobody can put
No,
that.
no, no. Okay, go again. Okay, be specific
No.
what you're saying down now.
But
Be specific.
you're interjecting to put in what you want me to make it about. So I am saying to you, if I find that, are you and I got, you are giving me permission, whether you are Mr. Speed, to play it publicly.
Man is man.
You hear what I said? That the player won't be transferred? You're not finding nothing like that.
You see what I just asked you?
What?
You need to.
You might hear that somebody said the player is registered to Cavalier and might be playing in the Premier League. That's the most you can find.
You hear what I just asked you?
I'm telling you exactly what I know would have been said. Exactly. That the player, one, would be registered and should be playing Premier League.
So if I find the clip, when I find the clip with you and Mr. Speed, can I create you are Mr. Speed. So you can use nuances with word and interject.
Okay.
So you are Mr. Speed. Do you want me to put up, because it is one and the same club, do you want me to put up the thumbnail with it, with your picture on it and his, and the club name, with the, because I need to get your permission.
Saying what am I going to be saying in the clip? Or Mr. Speed saying that the player is what?
Soji, leader.
No, is that saying that the player won't be transferred?
Yeah.
Will not be playing for Mount Pleasant? Be specific.
Soji, go ahead.
You can't find that. There's nobody not saying nothing like that.
Leader, relax.
What? Man is man. Man is man. What you see, if Mr. Speed, our leader, said that Mount Pleasant should do something about that from that time. What?
And they never did. They never did transfer. They never even attempt to do it. They never attempted to even transfer the player.
Listen, Soji. Yeah. Again, let me say to you and to leader. All of us on the stream agree that Mount Pleasant, let's use leader's word, was careless.
Yes.
All of us agree that Mount Pleasant didn't do due diligence. I have stated that because of that, the entire leadership at the academy has changed and different everything is in place, and there's going to be a big announcement. So no time. Hold on. At no point did anybody say that Mount Pleasant were right and they did. None of us said that. We're talking about other things that could have been done by the adults in it, seeing that we are dealing with kids.
Like what? But I keep asking, like what would the adults have done? Hold on. A Cavalier cannot, or any other club, it's not transferred. It's not the club where the player coming from does the transfer now. It's a player where he's going to does it.
Leader, I'm going to mute him because did I tell you that you were supposed to transfer players? Nobody told you that. You're bringing up things that we're not discussing. Nobody said that. You heard clearly what I said about what I believe your intervention could be. So if you don't hear it, don't know, man. Look, we don't. 2 days may I have the conversation, and you have heard nothing at all that I've said about what I think your intervention. So may don't talk. Nobody say nothing more, brother. You said that you don't have a clue what I am suggesting. You don't know nothing what me I talk about in terms of where you could have intervened. So leave it alone. Argument done. Because this last night and today, you don't have a clue about what I think your intervention should have been. You don't know nothing. You don't hear nothing. All you hear me, I tell you to do that you did transfer the player from Mount Pleasant. That's all you hear me say. Who me never said that. So let me leave it alone. We are going to leave it alone. If you want
Mannings, but hold on, just make everybody clear. What should I have done? No, just say it clearly to everybody. What should I have done?
Ask me any question. In the same way you listened to the program and called last night Same way, go back and listen.
No, but say no, because you're here in the space now. Say what I should have done.
Everybody have heard me. You have not. You go and listen.
No.
So,
Maybe I'm looking at the comments. People have not heard.
I'm going to mute you, Bridget. You're muted. Soldier, go ahead and close out.
Yeah, when I say, me understand where I say man is man, where I say you have a point and lead have also have a point. Because when me say, when you try, when me I'll get the understanding, if leader then should come in and say to them, say, listen, this player, but if leader them say this player not going to, they're not going to, this player not going to go nowhere and whatsoever. At that time, Mount Pleasant should do something about it. Mount Pleasant make a mistake with something with the same Yarcastle incident, which me glad them have clear out them thing there and put in a new body, which will be good because this is bad for the man spending so much money in developing football in Jamaica when they have to doing can go elsewhere. And the man them doing this at the comedy is wrong. From the Yark, they should learn from the Yarcastle incident. So they should, this what happened with them and leader and the player should never happen. Because with leader, they go to them and say this player shall not play for nobody but Cavalier. Then, Mr. Speed and one of them said that out of both of them. Then what should happen? Mount Pleasant should put a stop to it from there. Because you have a program in January, so they should do something about that. It shouldn't reach now, it's April. It shouldn't reach to April. That should resolve. And if they cannot sign the player, they said, listen, well, we're not going to get you to play for us. So you're not coming to school because when we say leader, say, guys, stop go school and notice that not find out where am I doing anything there. So if they should just say, listen, you're not coming to school, you're not doing here, and you cannot pay for us. So it better you go back home. They should done that, man.
Yeah, man. All right, Soldier. All right. And like I said, totally in agreement with you. And Mount Pleasant must shoulder the responsibility for this. And
of course, they have to shoulder the responsibility.
Yeah.
They have to shoulder the responsibility. And you should learn from the Yarcastle incident.
Yeah,
so
man.
they should learn from that. I'm glad them are wipe out whatever and put in a new body.
I suspect that.
I think you, management, if I was there, I think you should go in that organization, go run that organization up there. And I think it would run better.
Trust me, let me tell you what.
I think you,
no, so
I said,
let me tell you what's going to happen. Let me tell you what I believe is going to happen. Jamaicans are possibly going to see a lot of non-Jamaicans who of different race, class, and ethnic background leading Mount Pleasant, and a lot of opportunities for other people from the Caribbean outside of Jamaica. They're making major moves. And I know that Jamaicans are going to say, oh, look how them a treat we and our thing and stuff. I believe when you hear the announcements, you're going to see that there's a complete change of direction of how it operates. Yes. And unfortunately, and here's what, Soji, unfortunately, a lot of who are there now and probably really there to probably benefit, they're going to suffer. In other words, some of the kids who are there who really are genuinely there because they need the help, you know how it is, the good going to suffer, like for the bad. Because at some point, people going to have to plug the gaps in their organization. And I know how we are as Jamaicans, that we see when they come and cuss them to making moves like this. But I want to say, listen out, because you're going to hear some major changes. And I know a lot of people in the football are not going to like it, but at the end of the day, you have to make decisions that are in the best interest. At some point, after a while, you have to begin to change how you operate to give yourself the best opportunity to excel. And sometimes
nobody cannot say the man never tried. He give so many here, he give Jamaican to do all they do is carrying down the poor man. So the man doing everything for them and they not do. Say if he go for man England or wherever around the world. But I think if I did know that man, Mr. Peter go, I would say, you see that youth man is man down there, take him, put him on the board, maybe a part of it because all these issues what happened to them would never happen. The Yarcastle incident would never happen if you was a part of it. because you cities that don't happen because it's just true. It's the next one, but we're not get on that now. But this incident would never happen, and I think take a person from abroad when I know about Jamaica that you think can run good. I think you should be a part of it, management. And I will say to the president, say, if anything, German is man and part of your program because this man is is very good of organize things. So take them and I'll talk to them about it. You should be a part of something down there. I'm not saying to I talk to you, I'm going to say for every show, management comes like you. The football federation needs somebody like you on board. Remember me tell you.
But what I
because you only want to see the good eye.
Yeah, what
so
I
the
say
clothing thing, leader, and I go blame everything, leader, because as what you explain, I may see you have to take some blame, but Montes and majority of the Montes, they never do their work.
Yeah, man. And that is why I think they had to step in and get a new everything when it comes on to the academy.
Yeah, man.
With the senior team, that is different. And here's what, and like I said, listen, they must hold responsibility. But here's the thing. You see, as a people, when we see wrong, because sometimes what them say, you cut off your nose to spite your face. And I think sometimes we don't realize it. You see, though we may benefit, it's just like a man say, what? Yo, me thirsty, you know. If me bore and look a hole in the boat right here, so me can drink some water, you know. And him not realize when him do that, you know, though him a quench him thirst, you know, the boat will sink and everybody will go down. Everybody will go drown because you're out in the deep waters. You see, sometimes what we need to understand that even our own comfort sometimes, we have to basically give up our own benefit so the bigger vision can be fulfilled. And what has happened to Mount Pleasant is that, and this has happened from the beginning of Mount Pleasant, may I tell you this, from the first time them go up a civilized go play a little team, when Mr. Good and his wife and a youth who have him foot broken was running it, when them used to play and man all drop all on the concrete pitch up at the Mount Pleasant field before the Corner League team, people go there and here's what they always do. Everybody say, listen, make we get all we can and can all we get. And they don't think about what if this vision that the man have got to where he wants it to be. How many more Jamaicans would benefit? Every man a grab for themselves. And that is the problem that we are in. So everybody grab for themselves. So here's what now. All I know, wanna go on. Because seeing that every man want to grab for themselves and can't see the big picture, that is what happened. And this is what is happening.
As you say, we can't call on him a certain man, you know. No matter every person say about him, when you have player, a thing like this where this man going, they should build him player to sell abroad and to put, develop a youngster, bright youngster them, that they can get to go further and not to completely on it now mountains and go further to play for a bigger club abroad. So this is where this academy this should do. They have everything in the structure and they're not producing nothing as you say, they just grabbing and benefit. Person going to Mount Pleasant Durant, a guy going to school, you're going to take him out of that school and take him to Mount Pleasant because he's good and play football. And you don't put things in place for them and half of the parents, they benefit as you said, where the parents they can get. And other schools, most schools, not only Mount Pleasant do that player because school like this, they do the same thing to them. So that's going on.
Yeah.
So leader, what you said in our sense, leader, you not blame you. You have to blame Mount Pleasant too because them should do their homework and do everything. Because if you are Mr. Speed, come out and give man say something like that in January and then April and they never do nothing towards it, you can't be blamed because when you come out from this time towards Jamaica, you say that they're not going nowhere. So you shouldn't be here.
Yeah. And like I said, yeah man, big up yourself, man.
Big up yourself. Yeah.
Mr. Superman, what is it? Clark Kent.
Okay. Anyway, Mannings, I see some people commenting in the thing here about signing contracts. Let me just advise one thing. Once a player that age and the parent does something like that, you are going to restrict the player from if he wants to go to college later on. So there are certain ramifications because we know of a situation of contracts actually being signed with youngsters there that I think Mount Pleasant probably doesn't even know about. But that's another story, I think, for another day.
Yeah. Listen, we may have argued and debate, but it was done in the most part in a respectful way. Except for when you use the word dons. I think everything was
Not taking it back.
was amicable, the discourse, and we appreciate that. So I want to thank you for coming on. I don't think we have moved away from it, what we have been talking about and trying to do. But I will say this, is that most times the teams that collapse, and we see this in the league with Chapelton Maroons, where somebody was coming to put money. We see this with Brancourt. We see this with Port Morant. We see this with Mount Pleasant. I feel like the same thing has happened with the Marlies and Falmouth FC. When new people come into the football and there is a lot of resources in our country, I feel like we see it like there are many in our society who see it as, yo, make we squeeze everything we can get to the detriment of these things. And more, I would say Mount Pleasant has not collapsed, but they have suffered multiple millions people of losses, or what you'd call misappropriation of funds. It's a startling amount from their onset to this point. If you hear the figure, you would not believe the amount of money that is I don't want to say like unaccounted for, are there no proper checks and balances? So all I am saying is that as a people, when we see good things happening, I have the same concern about when we see a new public transportation system, a public bathroom, that we should not allow people to destroy it because it's going to affect us in the long run. Too often when we see good things, it's like we are upset. Are them a new bus, them have to, let us mash them up. How them a money have new bathroom and so? Let us mash them up. All this, I think we really need to take check as a society and see if we are spending too much time destroying the good things that we have while keeping the bad things. I think that is one of the sad things in this, that nobody is trying to say, listen, maybe they don't have no common sense, they don't have no experience, they don't know nothing that they're doing. But even the ones among us who know better, not trying to fix the issues when we see them. That is just my concern. Again, want to thank all of you for tuning in. I want to thank Mr. Follower Leader sometimes, Mr. Leader Follower sometimes. The rest of the panelists Diego and the others. Thanks to every person in the comment section. Hit the like button, share and subscribe. When you subscribe, hit the notification bell. I am Management. This has been I Am Sure Sports. And as usual, when it gets to this point, we say we are over and we are OUT out of here.